Okay, if it looks like we're good, we're going to start the run in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, first thing you want to do is just skip through everything, so I will explain the story as we get some breathing room, but for now I am just going to start mashing, and the first thing I want to do is enter the settings menu to make things go a little bit faster. Alright, so that's Vaughn and that's Pinello. I want to burp a few of the starting tutorials, increase the tutorial, increase animation speed, and we're good to go. So first thing I want to do right now is go to a safety shop, because I always mess up this menu. So I'm going to go enter and go into my talents. Talents are things that help reduce things passively. In the case of Gallo, Vaughn, we are going to reduce the sale price of items. That's going to help a lot because the run is very money dependent. Next, I'm going to get some extra armor and a shield for Gallo, and we will get our first mission. Right, first messed up my first skip. This is very good luck. 3 order gems. Okay, that is very bad luck. That means the game does not believe in me, so that's going to be great. What order gems are basically restarts. So what is very difficult about this game is that when you fail a fight, it's just game over. If you have an order gem, you can choose to replay the fight. I'm going to do a camera trick. I'm going to spin it right to 180 degrees, so that way I don't have to waste time rotating it. Okay, and here is the fight. So this is very much a... Alright, I'm just going to let it play out and then I'll just talk about it. Okay, so what you have seen is pretty much the Saga influence. There is a menu where you can select what weapons you can fight with, what spells you can choose from, and if you saw it for the very brief minute that it was on screen, there is a change in formation. So what you're used to seeing in most JRPGs is a front row and back row kind of thing, but with the Alliance Alive, it is a lot more nuanced than that. There are 3 specific roles: combat, defense, and support. For the most part, we will stay in all combat. In the end game, we are going to change to a defensive formation, and we really won't see a lot of the nuances with changing formation and how helpful that can be, because I have thrown all of that out the window. I have gone all in with damage because I have learned in the past 4 years that dealing damage is a form of support. So yeah. The nice thing about this game is that it's very mash friendly. All you have to do to skip anything is press start, and the game just fast forwards for you. Yeah, this game regularly goes on sale, so if you can find it on the Steam sale or like GOG, like, feel free to pick it up. This is an excellent game, and every single strategy that I'm using is basically casual play compatible. So if you are ever stuck, I highly recommend just watching this VOD and doing exactly what I do, because you can most likely beat every fight. Yeah, it's also on Switch, I think on the Xbone and the PS4. So I have not talked about the story, and this is pretty much a world where demons, otherwise known as furries, have taken over, so shoutouts to Sands of Destruction. Shoutouts to, what? I think Unicorn Overlord has it in spades, but it's really shout out to Sands of Destruction, where furries have taken over the world, and humans are subservient to the furries. Our main character, Gallo and Azura, over there. So Gallo is the guy on the left. Azura is not Azura from Fire Emblem Fates, but is, and also not our sister, but we were basically adopted by Azura's family when Gallo's parents passed away. Azura is convinced that there is a blue sky because the world that we live in, the Rain Realm, is cursed with rain. Shout out to Burmecia from Final Fantasy IX. So Azura basically wants to sneak into a Furries Only Museum and figure out if there is truly a blue sky. She's just going to blow up a wall casually and the guards aren't going to care. And we're going to go in. So we're going to be running away from every fight, and this is kind of your introductory area. Going to run away. Okay, so running away is very punishing. By which I mean, every time you run away, the character that chooses to run away will get a reduction to their maximum health. This health can be restored by resting at an inn, however, it is a negative feedback loop. The more you run away, the lower your health gets, and this has consequences in battle. If you get 0 HP in a fight, you obviously die, but you hit a maximum health reduction. Shoutouts to, not entirely Story of the Last Promise or Soul Trigger, but the problem is that the more your health decreases, you're going to hit 0 health. Once you hit 0 health, the game is over. So you want to be very careful. This is a very quick time-based light puzzle, and what you want to do is set it to a time where everyone is awake. Shoutouts to me, by the way, because yeah, it's super early, and you can definitely still hear it in my voice. Okay, if you ever see an enemy right now, you want to run away. You want to charge them because you can enter something called a battle chain. A battle chain is what happens when you have multiple random encounters at the same time. You don't want that to happen because you can't run away from them. That is a saga mechanic, and shoutouts to The Last Remnant. The Last Remnant is infamous for having a 3-hour grind scene where you run into a basement and fight a bunch of cockroaches for like 2 hours to grind. Right, so we're just getting a bunch of implements to go to the introductory boss. We don't really know what we are, or what we're doing right now, and we're pretty much just raiding a museum. So shoutouts to Indiana Jones. Sometimes you can run away from these fights. More often than not, if I get spotted by an enemy, I will charge it because the load times are a lot faster in the remastered runs than the 3DS runs. In the 3DS runs, I have a pathologic fear of fights, so I will do everything in my power to run away from them. Yeah, I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit rough right now. Alright, so this is a very interesting area. You can pilfer other weapons. It's not a good idea to do that. You just want to get the staff and get out of here. Okay, I have enough time to get out. So, if I didn't have my movement right, I would have gotten to a battle chain there. So, that's not good. Sorry, I sound like Wedge from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just give me a minute, and I won't sound like that anymore. Okay, I promise I wouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do an impression right now. You're doing this for the planet, right? Okay, I don't have the Wedge voice. Okay, more order gems. So for me, that's bad luck, but I'm gonna pick that up. Alright, first boss coming up real soon. Alright, so this is Grossa. Grossa is pretty much, he's pretty much Mr. Lawman. So Azura pretty much found out that there was there is a blue sky painting. Problem is, that's forbidden knowledge. And as punishment, Azura is going to go blind. So Grossa basically seals her vision, but Azura gets really upset and pretty much goes sicko mode. She enters the ignition state, which is pretty much a limit break. For ancient people like me, that is Rock Lee opening his chakra gates. For the zoomers out there, that is pretty much what is it, domain expansion from your Jujutsu Kaisen program. So yeah, this is going to be a very important thing in the run. Because ignitions are pretty much the very powerful attack that gets us through a lot of DPS gates. Alright, so now that Azura is blind, we pretty much... Galil is really upset. Shoutouts to Barbarossa, one of the best characters in the game. But, yeah, Galil is pretty devastated, and if you notice, there is no little armband on Galil's left arm. So normally his character sprite has a, like maroon-colored armband, but now Azura is wearing it. So Azura is now blind. The blindfold is just kind of there to remind you that she's blind, because in-game she's not actually blind. So shoutouts to Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV. She can still use Shigemancy, which is human magic, to see the area around her, but for all intents and purposes, she's blind. Also, shoutouts to, what is it? Tale of the Outcast. Nice time loss. Tale of the Outcast, where the main character is also blind, but she opens her eyes every now and again. So, yeah, I don't know, man. So now that... So Galil and his squad is part of the alliance, or part of the resistance to get out of the Beastman tyranny. The guy on the right is Wyatt. He's not Nikari from Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, that is Azura's dad. And we're going to be joining up with Renzo and Barbarossa. So Barbarossa is basically Guy, and Renzo is Guy too. So they are pretty vital in the entire game, because Barbarossa is basically your tank. He does a lot of damage. He's very tanky. And Renzo is your thief archetype, so he is pretty fast, but he's not very strong. I'm going to be replacing Renzo with Jean, or I'm going to be replacing Jean with Renzo, because even though Renzo is a little bit weaker, he still deals a lot of damage with swords. So we've been pretty good with fights. Nice thing you can do with movement in this game is that you can get enemies to bonk on walls, and they'll just stop fighting you, or they'll stop chasing after you. I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. I enjoyed the soundtrack of this game. The soundtrack was done by none other than Masashi Hamauzu. If for those of you who don't know, he is the primary composer to Final Fantasy XIII, and is second billed as the composer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, and to that point, the first song that you hear once you get control of the characters in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is 100% Hamauzu. Okay, this is a pretty tricky fight. It's very cramped, a very tricky area for fights, because it's very cramped. So I'm going to be focused a little bit here. I'm going to be picking up some items called power syrups. These things restore our SP, which is basically MP. So I'm going to be taking it a little bit slow. Okay, very nice movement. In my practice run, I got a very unlucky 3 battle chain. Okay, that's fine, I'll take it. Yeah, no, this game is like dripping with talent. It is very good. We're just gonna ignore that sultry voice and just keep running. I don't really like this area because it's very hard to see, but I'm just taking it. Okay, I see a fight there, so I'm just gonna... When I can run away from fights, but more often than not, I will take them if I know I can. You generally want to avoid battle chains because they are just massive time losses. Not so much early game, but they are devastating end game. Alright, this is your first mini break. And I'm actually doing pretty well right now in terms of timing, so... When it comes to a game that is very RNG intense, this game is surprisingly consistent. I say that because the RNG doesn't matter until endgame. So right now we're figuring out what these are, and basically that gigantic, what looks like a mirrored cross is basically just a set of car keys. It turns out that if we go to a certain area in the Rain Realm, we can activate the car keys so we can get our car. So the problem is it's not that simple, and you'll see very soon that it's actually the impetus for a series of chain reactions that get us started with all of the characters. So on our own, we can't do much, but we are simply the catalyst for a lot of the events that happen in-game. So you're noticing I kind of like zigzag and serpentine a lot. That is just to throw enemies off my trail. Alright. And hitboxes are a little bit weird. This is not Toho. And I always say that you are bigger than you think you are in this game because you just don't know the hitboxes. So it is always good to err on the side of caution. Okay, nice little trick here. If you hold up on the controller, you can keep running. And that's going to save you a little bit of time. So, going back to the story, since Azura more or less did something illegal, there is a lot of scrutiny put on Wyatt and his bar. So that's Botter, that is the Beast Lord of this town, and he's going to punch Nakari straight in the gut. Yeah, Roblox oof sound, by the way. And we're going to be running out of here, and Barbarossa is going to be showing off how cool he is. Alright, for whatever reason, I just like this cutscene. Sick. Alright, so we're running away from all the Beastmen, and this is where the story starts converging. I'm gonna grab more items like power syrups. Again, these are necessary for the budgeting of this run. You do not have a lot of money, and whatever money you have is immediately thrown down the drain. Doing a nice little trick to avoid the cuttlefish enemy. As we're running away, the Beastmen say, alright, look, we need backup. But Nina from Fire Emblem Fates, whose father is Niles and Elise, or no, yeah, Niles and Elise, and Robin from Fire Emblem Awakening just come in and save the day. So from this point in the plot, it's completely like a Deus Ex Machina, but there's a very good reason for why this is happening. We just don't know it because the entire thing is told from Gallo's perspective. Alright, so this is the first fight in the game, and I'm going to do a little bit of time saving here. I'm going to have Azura heal, have Renzo go on Twin Spike, and I'm going to press the select button to go on auto battle. Once you have a selection, and you know you want to keep using it, press select, because you save a huge amount of time. Not doing really well. And you saw something, a new attack that Gallo did in a little bit of a flash. That is a Saga mechanic. I call them sparking. In this game, they just called awakening. I'm going to call them sparking because that's the term I'm used to. Once again, Saga fan talking to a bunch of Suikoden enjoyers. And sparking weapon skills is vital for this run. If we do not spark the right amount of skills, we are at a DPS loss, and we can potentially rip run. So, in order to spark skills, you need to fight difficult fights, and for the most part, the introductory area is not a good place to spark skills. And you can see the Suikoden influence right here. The moment you get Barbarossa and Renzo, they sacrifice themselves in order for Gallo and Azura to escape. So, you're going to frequently see the party broken up and joining back together. That is a 100% a Saga thing. Or 100% a Suikoden thing, my mistake. And we're back again with just Gallo and Azura. In the meantime, we start seeing these two characters from another resistance group, Silver Rain. They're flying on things called Ornithopters, and Ornithopters are actually real. They just can't fly as well as they just can't fly as well in the game, but they're actually real inventions, which is actually really cool. But this is going to be important for a little bit later. Gallo and Azura pretty much say that the bar is under attack, and Silver Rain says, alright, look, you two need to get out of here. We're gonna try and back up Wyatt and everybody in the Resistance. Keep this in mind for later because this is important, because a lot of the choices you make and a lot of the choices you ignore are going to be instrumental in getting NPCs to join the Alliance or not. And we're going to show off some Ornithopter stuff right now. And press Y and then just mash A. The more you mash A, the more you flap your wings. The Ornithopter is one of my favorite tools from this game. Unfortunately, it is done very dirty in the speedrun. You don't have very many chances to use it. But I do like to use it, you know, to immediately disengage from enemies, so it's a little bit of a time loss when you do that, but it is more safety. And since this is a marathon setting, I'm going to be going for full safety, and because I am completely ancient, I'm absolutely going for safety. I do have a favorite Saga game, that is Saga Frontier 2. I highly recommend that game if anyone is new to the series. Romancing Saga 3 is also great, also readily available on Steam and goes on sale very frequently. Anybody who knows Romancing Saga 3, if you show them a picture of a rat, they will panic, take out a bow, and start firing wildly into a swarm of rats. If you don't get that joke, just play Romancing Saga 3 and you will understand. Everyone who's played Romancing Saga 3 has a pathological fear of rats. It's great. If you want a game that absolutely does not hold your hand, I messed up there. If you want a Saga game that does not hold your hand, I highly recommend playing Romancing Saga Remastered. It's also available on Steam. It is really, really fun, but that game is pretty much, how was I supposed to know this is the game? That game is also very punishing with grinding as well. The more you take fights, the higher something called the event rank increases. The event rank is necessary to complete certain quests, and you cannot beat the game unless you have a certain event rank. Alright, now I'm going to show you how fun the Ornithopter is, because we can actually skip or go quite a bit of distance with the Ornithopter. Alright, this is where I have my first safety save, and I'm going to check Gallo's health. Okay, he has enough. So if Gallo's health is less than 30, I do have to take a safety fairy salve, which restores your lost health back to full, or some of your lost health. But I want to make sure I have the buckler on. Double checking our talents. Okay, we're good. Alright, so if anybody has difficulty fighting the first boss, I highly recommend doing this. Unfortunately, you need to have the shield, because otherwise the only way to get past this is to grind. And that is, the G word is a very big no-no word within the Saga community. The Saga games generally do not require grinding, although that statement is partially true. Saga games do not require grinding unless if you know the battle system. So, in this case, I know the battle system, and I'm going to take advantage of the ignition state. So I'm going to go into lineup. I'm going to have Gallo in guard, have him block, and have Azura spam heal. This fight also teaches you a lot of bad habits for the Alliance Alive. You have to mash in order for Azura to heal Gallo. If you press select, Gallo will block, but Azura will heal herself. So we're just going to be spamming heal. And you'll notice that the menus are very snappy. And that is something I like, except the menus that aren't in battle aren't very snappy. Right? And that is the first boss. Pretty easy. 25 minutes. We are still on pretty good time. So because this is a saga game, there is a likelihood that I would have not even procced Elude or Bash, the two skills that showed up in that fight. So there's also a chance I could have gained health, but I'm actually surprisingly lucky with Gallo right now. I want to have Gallo as low health as possible for a couple of skips towards the mid-game. So we do activate the car, and the car, like a Tesla, is going to drive to us, but we don't know why. And if we look at the cutscene, there are 3 people we don't know driving it. So that's weird, and we cut to Vivian and Ignace. Vivian and Ignace, I consider, are the main characters of this game, because Vivian's curiosity is what kickstarts this entire section in the Burning Realm, and being a Beast Lord, Vivian knows a magic called sorcery. Sorcery and Sigimancy are mutually exclusive schools of magic, but for whatever reason, Vivian is very curious about the human world. Shoutouts to the manga that just came out recently, High Toner, by the way. Alright, this is the ladder puzzle. Shoutouts to Hideo Kojima, but ladders are kind of very sticky in this game. I don't really like them. Like, you just kind of stick onto them like a magnet, and then you move. It's a little bit weird, to say the very least. Yep, there it is, right? Come on, game. Unfortunately for this game, the Alliance Alive really loves its ladder puzzles. So we're going to be seeing this towards the end game. Oi. Yeah, I promised myself I wouldn't shout out Hideo Kojima nearly as much as the 2000 speedrun. So, 2020 speedrun. But with Vivian, you learn a couple of new things, and most importantly, Chaosium Gems. Chaosium Gems are these little collectibles that you can pick up throughout the game. They kind of work like mystic seashells from Link's Awakening. So you can trade them in for various goodies, and I want to collect a minimum of 5. So that is Tiggy. Shoutouts to my boys in Duck Chat, my boys and girls in Duck Chat, and Tiggy is kind of the mad scientist, and she is the robot archetype of Saga games. I will talk about Tiggy, but for now, I want to go into the talents menu. I want to make sure I have the correct talents learned. Ignace, I'm going to be using completely differently in this run. I'm going to be using him as a DPS. So normally I'm used to using him as a tank, and I'm going to learn something called Scouting on Tiggy. You've noticed that enemies have a bit of an aggro radius. If you learn Scouting on enough characters, you can make that radius so small that enemies will completely ignore you. The only danger from enemies at that point would be enemies randomly running into you. Yeah, she can shrink ducks by using the power of Sigimancy. It's kind of great. I'm going to do another cool skip here. I call it money storage, but for this entire run, we are going to be using a lot of money, and I'm going to buy exactly 49 medicines. So the reason why I want to do this is that you are going to be stripped of your money when you go to certain dungeons, or going to the next dungeon that we're going to, which is the Junkyard. A shout out to Sector 5 slums in Final Fantasy VII. So we need to scrap a lot of equipment for Tiggy's robot, because Tiggy wants to swim on lava. Oh, this is just an awesome song, so I'm going to be quiet for one section. Just listen to that funky bass. Sometimes I can get lucky, but sometimes if there are a lot of like those plant enemies, those are not very good to run away from, especially if they charge you. Bees aren't very fun either. Shout out to Nicolas Cage and the Wicker Man, not the bees. Alright, coming up, you have seen this a bunch of times, but the trick that I usually like to call this is just camera pointing. So if you want to orient your camera in a very specific way for certain cutscenes. If you do that, you save a few seconds of time, but that is a technique that I have constantly messed up. And realistically, what is more important for time saves are fights. So in terms of learning tech for this game, camera movement is one of the least. So what nice thing about this Junkyard is that you can pay people to just solve the puzzles for you, but they charge you a percentage of your current money. If you have very little money, they'll still charge you, but you won't lose your money. So by purchasing a lot of medicines early in the game, okay, this is not good. So I want to try and split up this group, because otherwise this is a battle chain. So that is the time that scouting actually backfired on me, but hopefully that doesn't happen too often. But in general, you do not want to get in battle chains again. I was going to have this idea of buying a Bean Boozled, and every time I get into a battle chain or have a time loss, just have a Bean Boozled, but again, this is like, it's not even like 5 in the morning where I live, and I'm not doing that to myself. Okay. Oh my god, that's a battle chain. Okay, yeah, that kind of sucks. I want Thunder Emission and just shot. Okay, I want to save up some SP. So, spared from the beam, but I still got Bean. Story of my life, honestly. Now, you generally don't want to do this, but sometimes you just have no choice. So, I can't really be mad at the game. Like, that just happens. Unfortunately, I have the GOG version, so I can't say Gabe N gives, Gabe N takes, but, you know, RNGesus gives, RNGesus takes. Okay, for this fight, you want to get this chest here. It is called the Shot Stabilizer, and you want to immediately equip that on Tiggy. Tiggy has certain weapon talents, or weapon arts, that are locked behind the Shot Stabilizer. And basically, it's basically changing your form in order to use them. For the early game, Tiggy is very powerful, but she falls off extremely quickly. This is because of her weapon type. Tiggy is the only character who can use guns pretty effectively, shout out to Myth from Unlimited Saga, and guns are very much hidden behind the alliance system. For example, Tiggy's strongest weapon requires investing a huge amount of characters into the Blacksmithing Guild. That is really unoptimal because you can be spending that on other characters like the Sigimancy Guild for better spells, and it's very much an opportunity cost lost, so it's not great. Tiggy is also just kind of a weird character in general because she can't really learn that many skills, and she is very limited to just guns. And a very, very, very weak slap. So, On paper, she's extremely good. In theory, she's very bad. So next, we're gonna go and get some parts from this weird guy named Blue. Blue is... I'm not gonna spoil it, but just keep an eye on the color of Blue's text. The music in this game, as I've mentioned, is Masashi Hamauzu, but he also collaborated with his daughter Ayame Hamauzu for some songs. I believe the main theme, titled Ignition, that plays during certain fights, is done by Ayame Hamauzu. And you can definitely tell there's an influence from her father, but this game has a lot of airy synths and is very just chill to listen to. I unironically listen to the soundtrack at work. So it is a crying shame that we do not hear a lot of these songs with their completion, but you know, that's really you know, for you to listen on your own time, and it is a very, very fun soundtrack to listen to. Although, call me biased, but my favorite soundtrack is from Hamauzu is Saga Frontier 2. Hamauzu is not only just a video game composer, he does a lot of his own piano music and his own classical stuff, like the Etuden. It is just a 25-minute just series of etudes that are evocative of another very famous composer, Debussy. So you can definitely tell a lot of his influences just by listening to his music. So if you are a classical music nerd, absolutely give Hamauzu a listen. And right now we're just gonna get 360 no-scoped by a squid monster, so awesome. Yeah, Vivian is honestly the best character. She's great. Unfortunately, she does fall off endgame, so I'm gonna be a little bit careful here. I only have 1 point in scouting, so I can still get aggroed by enemies, and it is crawling with enemies who have seen out. Okay, great, got beamed. Okay, you kind of have to like do a serpentine. Shout out to Generation Kill. Okay, I didn't get a battle chain, so that is good. The annoying thing with Tiggy is that you have to manually select Precision Mode and then go into Hound Killer. So it is a bit of a time loss, but it is a DPS game. And while we're here, I'm gonna... Okay, very careful, let it flee. So I am taking a lot of time losses here. I need to make sure all of the menus that I'm doing are important because we're going to be recruiting the octopus very, very endgame. And he is vital for the run because we're going to be putting him and his family on the Tactics Guild. If we do not recruit them, that is rip run because that is a gigantic DPS loss in the endgame. Okay, want to make sure we hurry back. I think in one of my practice runs I mismenued it and I had to run all the way back, so that was like a 5-minute time loss. It was great. If you heard the sound effect, that kind of sounded like the sound effect from Undertale, where you're going down the elevator, going down to the core. I just thought that was kind of weird. Alright, so now we are lava capable. We can now swim in lava. Isn't it adorable? First thing I want to do is equip those new items on Tiggy, because that is going to give Tiggy a lot more tank. We want to have Tiggy to have tankiness because the next fights can easily one-shot her, and Tiggy right now is our #1 source of DPS. Alright, so now we are going to go to Pandemonium. Shoutouts to the final dungeon of Final Fantasy II. And we are going to see what is out there. Also, just take a look at that yellow thing. You don't need to know what that is. But in all seriousness, those yellow nodes are places where we can set up like guild towers. Guild towers are basically like 5G towers that help you connect to the guild. You'll see on the top right screen there is a little this is like a cell phone tower that is. Why am I going this way? There's a little cell phone tower, and you are seeing the Blacksmith Guild lit up. Basically, the more guild towers you have, the more reception you have, and the more you can call in your buddies to help. The Blacksmith Guild does damage to all enemies when they are active. The Recon Guild, the feather to the right, has a chance to sabotage or stun enemies. The Sigamancy increases our own physical defense. The Tactics Guild increases our position, which increases our ability to defend, support, or attack, depending on what we've chosen as our attack for that turn. And the Tactics Guild, I want to say... No, Sigamancy Guild increases our physical defense. My mistake. And the Tactics Guild increases our position. I don't know if it's a Street Pass thing. I don't think so. I think it's just, it's literally just reception, like cell phone reception. Because keep in mind this was released in 2015, so the original release of the Alliance Alive was like 2015 when the 3DS was basically on its way out. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh, this is one of my favorite songs, so I'm going to be quiet for this section. For a place called Pandemonium, it's surprisingly chill. Yeah, it's not like Bravely Default where you have like more Street Pass and you immediately like dunk on the final boss. I still am convinced it's just cell phone reception, but again, I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times before when I'm commentating on this run. It's a streamer curse. Like, everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. It is also worth noting that Tiggy is pulling a page out of Jill Fazard and referring to Ignace as a dumb dog. So, shoutouts to Jill from Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, by the way. Okay, I want to be careful the next couple of fights. I think I overused Vital Drain. Okay, yeah, I used one too many Vital Drains. That's okay. I'm gonna compensate for the next area. Alright, so shout out to, what is it, Tears of the Kingdom? Where you can, like, cool things with water and just have the lava flow. Mission. Okay, I want to be careful here. Okay. Gonna be a little bit unoptimal here, but that's okay. So Vital Drain is pretty, no pun intended, vital, because it's going to reduce enemy endurance. Endurance, and I actually haven't talked about stats, so let's talk about them right now. Endurance affects your ability to block with shields and your physical defense. Weirdly enough, I am using the most unoptimal character to be a tank in this game, that is Ignace. Ignace is actually built as a spellcaster. He has very poor strength, very poor endurance, and not that great focus. The game gives him spears which are strength and focus dependent, and he does a very poor job with them. He is also kind of the designated tank in terms of personality towards Vivian. So yeah, we don't really have much of a choice but to use him as a tank and as a DPSer in some cases, but it's just really weird. Oddly enough, Vivian, of all people, has more endurance and strength, so that's weird. Okay, and we're pretty much good to go here. You're gonna see the cooling band. Nice. That was very good. Sometimes that fight can go south, and either Vivian or Tiggy can die, but hopefully if Ignace is still alive, he can just go into the ignition state and just one-shot the enemy. Well, I neglected to mention that this game has a bunch of bathroom breaks, so we are not yet at the bathroom break parts yet, but I will give you guys, and everyone in chat, very ample time if you guys have to go. So, the reason why I like to run this game is that it's actually, like, speedrunner friendly. So there are a lot of cutscenes that you can just press start, have it auto-complete, and it'll just do its thing while you can just run out and go to the bathroom. Alright, so this is how Tiggy and the Fun Squad get into the Ark. So keep in mind, the Ark is only activated by the car keys that Gallo and friends have activated. Without them activating it, this Ark would have not moved. So, ostensibly speaking, Tiggy and Vivian would have said, oh, this is a cool ship, okay, we can't do anything with it. But thanks to the misadventures of Azura and Gallo, the ship is now in motion, and the ship is now careening towards them. Alright, so now we're gonna go to Jean and Rachel. Jean and Rachel are actually humans working in service of the Beastmen. They are tasked with infiltrating the Rain Realms guilds. But this is where the story gets a little bit weird, because their task is pretty much done to sabotage all the humans, but it gets a little bit weirder, and I'll just let their story play out. Every Beastman is supposed to be some sort of animal, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what Botter is. So I have pretty much just decided that he is like, an overgrown, like, salamander turtle thing. I don't know what he is, but he's just a muscle man. I mean, when you saw Rosa, you can kind of tell he's a little bit like a beetle. He's got this, like, weird thing on his back. Kind of got, like, horns, so kind of like a stag beetle. Uses a spear. Vivian and Ignace, they're pretty much just, you know, kimono. They're like kimono friends, kimono, right? They've got the kimono plasm, which gives them, you know, their cool outfits, and the tail and the ears. So Jean, who is definitely not Robin from Fire Emblem Awakening, and Rachel, who is not Nina from Fire Emblem Fates, are just doing some intel. And you're gonna notice something with their talent. I have kind of shown it in passing, but every character has a certain amount of talent that they start with. Gallo and Azura are unique in the sense that they have very little investment to talents, but Jean and Rachel are pretty much decked out. Jean is pretty much a spellcaster, while Rachel is an archer. This can change in the New Game Plus, and especially EX New Game, where all of the talent that you're given has been refunded. In this game, talent is your way of passives. So the more talent you invest, let's say, into bows, the cheaper the SP costs become, and the stronger it can get with certain talents. you really don't get a lot of talent in the context of the speedrun. So, for reference, we start off with about 2,900 talent in the beginning. By the end of the game, we are considered blessed if we go any further than 5,100 talent. So the game is extremely stingy with talent in the speedrun setting, and even in a New Game Plus setting and a casual play setting, it's very stingy. You have to invest way more into the Scouting Guild if you want more talent. And not only that, you have to enter battle chains to get more talent, and it's a very long-winded word. It's a very long-winded way of saying we have to grind. So, again, the dreaded G word is coming out in a saga run. So Rachel, surprisingly, is very humane, and really just wants to help out humans, but Jean is like, alright, look, I have a job, and I need to make sure I actually do my job, and you're not making this easy for me. So Jean is just kind of being dragged along while Rachel is saving Gallo and company. This is going to have a lot more far-reaching consequences because Rachel absolutely wants to help these people, and Jean is slowly getting dragged into it. So far, so good. This entire first hour is pretty much getting the squad together. Not very easy, very easy to pick up. We start seeing the fun happening right after this cutscene. So, if you're bored, I apologize. This is just kind of the Alliance Alive experience. And you have heard what sounds to be like a fight. We're gonna, it's not our job, it's not our pay grade. We're just gonna go back to Botter. It's gonna be okay. Oh, this is one of my favorite songs, so I'm gonna be quiet here. I'm actually upset that that song ended way too early. So, in terms of plot, they pretty much capture Wyatt and Barbarossa and Renzo. Botter was about to execute them on the spot, but Jean, in his infinite wisdom... Alright, I'm gonna be slow here. This is the best line in the game. Okay, time loss is acceptable. Best line in the game right now. Azura is literally me. Alright, cool. So, yeah. Even in the Japanese version, that line is actually hamburger. Like, even across languages, nobody can resist the power of Berg. Once again, shoutouts to Metal Gear Solid 5. But going back to the plot. Botter was about to execute Wyatt on the spot, but Jean said, alright, look, we can get information out of him, so why don't we just torture him? Botter's like, oh yeah, good idea. So, Wyatt is going to be alive, but tortured. And so are Barbarossa and Renzo, so not great, but this is going to be very important because now that we have the squad of Gallo and Vivian together, we can go explore the open map, and just kidding, we're gonna have to jailbreak the friends in the caged realm. So right now, we don't actually know why this is happening, but there is a very good plot reason why. It is just unfortunately a spoiler, and I can't really say anything. So, yeah, a lot of people haven't played this game before, and for a lot of people this is their first time, so I don't want to spoil that. Alright, this is the Caged Realm. And also just a good reminder that for those of you who are waking up, yeah, sun still hasn't actually risen yet where I live. This is the Murayama Tribute Marathon. Murayama sadly passed away on February 6th. Everything that we're doing right now is in tribute to all the good games that he made and, you know, just all the good memories that, you know, we have shared thanks to him. So Murayama is the creator for the Suikoden series and the Eiyuden Chronicles, which is coming out soon, and he is the writer for this game, The Alliance Alive. This is also just a really fun song. You can just hear like the nice little whistling in the background, just amidst all of like almost like noise and grunge in the background, so really cool. Okay, doing another camera skip there. Okay, this is a fun enemy. So if you make sharp turns, you'll see the enemies, you'll see birds kind of go Tokyo Drift, so shout out to Initial D and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. That is how you can get them off your track. So, oddly enough, no. So Azura is blind, but not really. She can still see with the power of Sigimancy, but, yeah, it's kind of weird. Oh, also one of my favorite songs in the game. Alright, so if you have noticed, I have been collecting some Chaosium gems in the Burning Realm segment with Vivian, and we're going to start cashing them in right now. If you are very patient with your Chaosium gems and exchange them at the end of the game, you can get an extremely powerful weapon. And with enough points in the Blacksmith Guild, you can get Masterworks. So these games, this game has several tiers of weapons, the best of them being, I believe, Masterwork, and what differentiates a standard grade weapon from a Master grade weapon is that the Masterwork weapon is an increase in speed, a reduction in weight, and an increase in stats. This game has a weight mechanic, which is from Saga. The more items you equip, the slower your character is going to be. Masterworks reduce that weight, and Masterworks also increase our stats. There is no way to increase our stats through grinding, and the only ways to increase those stats are through equipment optimization. So, in this game, every character has a very fixed stat spread. For example, Gallo is your jack of all trades, Azura is also your jack of all trades, but geared towards magic. Ignace, as I have complained before, is a spellcaster with very little to do with tanking and physical attacks. But because we're going to be using him as our shield towards the end game, I'm going to be optimizing him to the best of my ability. And funnily enough, Rachel actually has Unarmed, and so does Jean. So Jean actually getting physical with Rachel is 100% plot, like, is actually 100% like game and plot integration. So that's just kind of wacky. So these are the roly-poly enemies. Roly-poly enemies are a lot like the plant enemies we've seen in the Burning Realm. So all you have to do is just juke them right at the last minute, and they have a lot of difficulty catching up to you. You're probably wondering why I'm not using the Ornithopter, and unfortunately, we cannot use the Ornithopter whenever we enter a new realm, for whatever plot-related reason. For this case, the fog is so thick, shoutouts to Silent Hill, and we can't really see in front of us, so Gallo is kind of worried that we're going to crash into something. The Rain Realm, we can use the Ornithopter in the Burning Realm, but because Ignace and company do not have the Ornithopter, we can't use them. We're going to be unlocking the Catacombs. Again, one of just my favorite areas in the game because of just really good music, and I'm going to be picking up a lot of items that are scattered along the area. I want to be picking these up because they sell for good money, and they also have a good weapon. But with this, you are leaving money on the table if you do not get them. This is something that I have actually had to learn. I can't really do much with these fights sometimes, so I'm just going to be running away. Just take the time loss. Don't make it any worse for yourself. It is a very common thing that I've seen with speedrunning this game. You want to be sick, you want to be cool, and outrun the enemies, but you don't know what's ahead of you. And oftentimes an enemy will pop up and you will enter a battle chain. So just, you know, take the hit and just take the fight. With very, very little exception, like in this case, I know I can juke him like that. Just ignore the satanic ritual, by the way. With very, very few exceptions, I will run away from fights, especially right now because I don't have a lot of scouting. I can't really risk anything, so, you know, just play it safe. And even on my more safe runs, I do end up, like, getting PBs or, in some cases, world records when I was first starting. So there is no shame in just taking a couple of steps, knowing how to juke an enemy, like that. So right now, pretty smooth navigation. I've only gotten to one battle chain, so that's not bad. All the practice coming into play, so that's very good to see. Alright, so this area is going to be crawling with enemies. I have every single time gotten to a battle chain here, and I'm hoping that is not the case. You want to get every item you see here, or that's just in front of you, so you are going to be saving a lot of money, and this is in service of the money route. Alright, and if anyone remembers that episode in SpongeBob where Patrick is going wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, that's just what's happening in my head right now. Because the enemy is just screaming enemy raid. It's great. Or if you ever played that like Warhammer 40k RTS and you just hear enemy Baneblade, kind of the same principle. Alright, welcome back to ladders. Okay, that is super smooth. Usually I get into a fight there. So Gene is starting to think of something. Now that there is an enemy raid, he's putting two and two together and saying, wait a minute, okay, your buddies are trying to jailbreak you. Okay, what happens if I let you guys go and we jailbreak Wyatt? Because Rachel is obviously having an influence on him, and Gene, much like the Grinch, is starting to have a heart. Okay, kind of. It's kind of hard to figure out Gene. Gene is the kind of person who would immediately sell you out for, like, a can of jelly beans or something, I don't know. Okay. Wait. There is also the sunken cost fallacy of waiting too long, so it's just a happy medium with this kind of dodging enemy encounters. Okay, very nice. Okay, that was actually really good. I will take excessive single fights and running away from them any day. Normally, I get into battle chains. I really don't care if I have to bait them out. This is really good. Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. You can get a massive time save if you just charge into these fights. Since we are going to be using Renzo, and we're going to be supplementing our DPS anyway, I'm going to take these fights, so this is a massive time save. Otherwise, you would have to go through like another like shoots and ladder experience, and it's just not fun. Nice. Take that fight. Sometimes I can be like, I can do like epic gamer moves and like, you know, like swoosh right through them, but in every single one of my Packers runs, I have not been able to do that. I was able to do that like in the 3DS version, but not here anymore. The Alliance Alive is very weird. On one hand I like it, on the other hand there are a lot of like weird gameplay choices. So chief among them is that you don't really get a sense of progression if you're not used to Saga games. Just choosing the right abilities right now. Alright, so the nice thing about Thunder Emission is that it affects an AoE. So if you position the attacks right, you can get 2 enemies in one. But the story isn't bad. I actually really quite like the story. If anything, my only criticism of it is that it can get a little bit bare bones like a Saga game, but otherwise it's more just very strange choices. Like, for the most part, we haven't gotten a lot of weapon upgrades, and the only abilities, or the only way we've gotten stronger are through unlocking talents. It's kind of weird. And in general, there aren't that many weapon choices to begin with. The game is also extraordinarily stingy with talent, as I've mentioned, so a sense of progression in terms of talent is also hard to see unless you're doing New Game EX, which is pretty much a New Game Plus, except you get a free 10k talent. It is pretty much the most efficient way... Oh, did I not do that right? It's a time loss. It's fine. Yeah, Tiggy is in the Duck Gundam. She's in the Swan Song, it's great. Unfortunately, she is unironically the worst character in the game, which is unfortunate, to say the least. Like, Tiggy is really good right until the second act, and then she just falls off a cliff. I'll take this. Alright, so it's time for fun. This is another fight, and with this team in general, this was like a majority of the OG team. So Jean would just be spamming heals or physical attacks. Barbarossa gonna do his Barbarossa thing and just smack enemies upside the head with axe. And Renzo is kind of just gonna deal some damage with a sword. He's not doing a lot right now because he has a really bad weapon. Yeah, that fight kind of looked dicey, but that's just bad RNG because the enemies that were firing bows have a chance to insta-kill your party. That's gonna show up late game. Alright, now we can manipulate our party. Oops. So I'm gonna put in Barbarossa. Don't forget to equip him. You want to make sure you rest because Vivian has no SP. I've also not saved in an hour. Just shout out to Morrowind. You really don't need to save all that much because you can just quick save by pressing that could have been a battle chain. Alright, now the place is crawling with enemies, and you kind of just want to... Oh no, that's a 3 battle chain. Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay. Yeah. There is nothing you can do. You just take the hit. It's not too bad. You don't really need that much SP anyway. But yeah, it is just a huge time loss. It's also pretty good too because, well, it's not too bad because you can have some time for Barbarossa and Ignace to proc any new skills, which they are not, so you can justify a battle chain. Oh, Hellrage. Okay, I can justify this now. Hellrage is the precursor to several skills that I need for axes, primarily Onslaught, and if I can, Smithereens. I have not seen Smithereens proc, but I absolutely want it to. So Ignace getting Hellrage is good. That means we're on the right track for one character, but I absolutely need Barbarossa to get that because he is going to be my primary source of DPS. Okay, Vivian doesn't have... Come on, game. You can bonk on that door. It doesn't happen a lot, and I'm surprised it happened here. It's a marathon setting, so I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. But alright. This is the first climax boss, and what's going to happen is... Botter has taken Wyatt hostage, and realizing that the team can't go all out, Wyatt sacrifices himself, and it is a very, emotional cutscene, but we have to skip that. Not doing great. Okay, that's good. Okay, Giant Bomber, that's good. Okay, excellent. You heard that little jingle? That means someone's in the ignition state. Okay, 3 people in the ignition state. I don't need any more than that. Nice. Very nice, and we get the 3rd strongest axe in the game, just right like that. So... Plot wackiness aside, okay, this is the first bathroom break, so everybody just take a break right now. Alright, I'm so sorry about that. I should have warned you guys. But yeah, there's a bathroom break, and then we'll get another one in 30 minutes. The second one is actually much longer. I think it's like 2 to 3 minutes. So this guy, well, we don't know what's happening right now, but this is gonna have a lot of long-reaching consequences towards the end of the game. But going back to the plot, upon defeating Botter, another one of those weird purple things that we saw that was blocking the arc burst. These are called ether gates, and there are several ether gates around the world, but they're blocking something and we don't know what. But we're going to name our ship right now, so I'm going to name this in service of the Suikoden run. So let me just be careful here. Alright, Suikoden 2024. Cool. Excellent. Gotta be careful with that one, so. Alright, so now we have the open world and we're gonna get the strongest sword in the game. So this is where the game really opens up and very much shows its saga influence. So we just got a very powerful axe and we're going to get the strongest weapon in the game, the Exceed knife. Anybody who is playing this game for the first time, I highly recommend that you do this exact strat, because it's going to give you a very much needed damage boost when you really don't have a lot of weapon options. So I'm going to do a quick save. Alright. So this is pretty much like the weird world. Alright. There we go. Ooh. So if you saw there is an item that is hidden underneath one of those monsters, you don't want to fight these guys because this is one of the hardest areas in the game. And I'm just equipping everything just in case I get into a fight. So, not good enemy placement. Okay, this is good. No. Okay, okay, whew. Okay, that was actually panic-inducing because if you aggro those fights, you can't run away in that area. Those fights can easily rip your run. That's why I quick saved right before getting in. It is, they will kind of just come out and get kind of handsy with you. You don't want that to happen. And the Water Devils, as they're called, have a very noticeable aggro range. Even with 2 levels of scouting, you want to be careful. Well, I'm glad we have the strongest sword in the game, because that is going to come in handy in the arc right after, which is pretty much the most, like, Suikoden I've ever seen for this game. Everything right now is just getting the squad together, and in service of that, right now we're getting the alliance together. So, at this point we realized that we need to open and unlock these ether gates, but we're only, what, 7, 8 people? So, we need the backing of the human resistance. So, turns out that there are a lot of other guilds that are working in disparate fashion, and we're saying, well, we have everyone, let's just bring them all together. Now, this cutscene only plays if you ignore that argument with Jean and Rachel. What happened was, if you remember way back in the game, when we got the Ornithopters, this guy on the right, Elward, was with another dude that looks kind of like him, Max. It turns out that Max got really upset that Wyatt is being taken away, got into an argument with the guards, got into a fight, and then died. Because no one was there to, get him to back off, well, he's dead, and that's a character that we can no longer recruit into our alliance. However, since he died, Hellward gives us his sword, the Demon Slayer. And this is going to be extremely important for the next part, because it's going to give us a very powerful sword that will last us actually until endgame, because the weapons that we get in this game are very limited. There's going to be a really sick Ornithopter, like right after this section. Just taking a look at my talent right now. So that battle chain did really give me a lot of talent, so that's going to be very helpful. But we really can't make any use of it right now. Although I will be investing quite a bit into Renzo. So Sorensen gives us a lot of talents that we can now use the entire talent tree, and I'm going to take advantage of that with Renzo. Renzo is pretty decent with swords, but now we can pretty much go all in, give him a massive reduction in his SP costs, so he can use a lot of high skill. Okay, I'm going to be mashing here. And then the attack boost. That attack boost is going to help him deal DPS, and okay. If you mash rhythmically and well enough, you can do an entire Ornithopter flight from the guild all the way back to the beach. Couldn't do that. Unfortunately, not working out for me today, but it's fine. It's only a very minor time save. It just looks really cool. Yep. Okay, next thing I want to do is go to the Burning Realm. Anytime you see a downward slope or a change in elevation that's going down, you want to use the Ornithopter. That's pretty good time save. It's also just really sick. And again, I am still upset that they did my Ornithopter dirty. We're going to be going back to the Burning Realm a few times, but you're going to be noticing right now that running back to the nearest beach is kind of time-consuming. So you really want to avoid going back to the Burning Realm as much as possible, and this is going to play an impact towards the mid-game where we have to return, but we're going to take advantage of some cutscene warping, so that way we don't have to spend 1 or 2 minutes getting out of here. With the Burning Realm return, it's going to be a lot more time consuming to get to the area we need to go to, and really I'm going to be showing off just how much time you can save by going to the Sigimancy Guild last. So if you all remember, we had to kind of walk all the way to the Sigimancy Guild, but since we have cleared up a lot of the fog in the Caged Realm, visibility has cleared up and we can use the Ornithopter. And boy howdy, the Ornithopter saves us a lot of time. That was a good Ornithopter. So, oddly enough, I didn't get the good Ornithopter when I came out of the Tactics Guild, but I got a good one here. We're just gonna unlock this dungeon here, and this guy can be free if he wants to. So, we're not gonna recruit him, because we have a pretty strict route for our recruitment. And while we're talking about the Suikoden influences right now, for all intents and purposes, we have the core party. There are some optional party members which I'm going to be picking up, but for the most part, these are almost all of the characters that we can play as. Everyone else is just going to be kind of just assignments to the guild, and a fun glitch coming up if I can make it. Okay, can't. Oh, there it is. Gallo just A poses. What happens to the guy you run past twice? Nothing happens to him. He's just kind of there. He is free, but he's still imprisoned in his mind, kind of thing. It's honestly kind of like a philosophical thing that I don't know enough about, so he's just gonna stand there. So as you have seen, getting to the Sigamancy Guild is very time-consuming. We don't want that to happen, so it's going to be the last guild we get, because once we get the Sigamancy Guild on our side, we go back to the Ark. So that saves us a lot of time. This is where we see more of Jean's not so savory nature. The Guildmaster of the Sigamancy Guild will not help us unless there is a trade. So Jean says, alright, look, if you join us, we will volunteer Vivian and Ignace to share anything they know about sorcery. And Vivian, at least, is pretty cool with it, but Ignace is like, dude, you probably should have asked this beforehand. And this is going to be some foreshadowing for the next act. Yeah, Jean is kind of a slime ball. Like, Ziggy and Barbarossa, now that we have the entire alliance basically formed, he's realizing that, well, the ship is pretty big, but everybody needs a place to go, so they're gonna color code the little beacons, or little diddly-bops on our ship, and those are gonna be our mobile guild headquarters. Yeah, absolutely. Jean just fails to consider that people have opinions, and this is very nearly going to bite us in the butt in the next act. I don't know if he's a Twitch chatter or not. Like, he has ulterior motives, it's just unfortunately the game doesn't have enough time to go into what those ulterior motives are. Like, for all intents and purposes, all I know is that he just wants to get a promotion. But if he's running away from the Beastmen and has absolutely betrayed them, why is he... You know, the more you think about it, the worse it gets, kind of thing. This game does not have character classes. This game kind of has archetypes. And alright, best character in the game, this is Best Boy Robbins. Right, any criticism towards Robbins is immediately shut down. He is the best character, and I will not accept any other opinion. We're going to offer to be his bodyguard because this is going to give us a lot of money. And I'm going to switch Tiggy with... But Robbins is cool. He is the family penguin we all should aspire to be. He is a caring father of 3, has a loving wife, and has what is the skull of a swordfish as a helmet. That isn't the coolest thing. I don't know what is. This is unironically called, I think like the Water Devil realm, so unironically it is the Shadow realm. Like, it's very easy to get lost in here, and it's like, not great, but let me... We got an item called the Scrap Blade. The Scrap Blade gives us a +2 strength to anyone equipping it, and it is going to be the reason why Barbarossa can deal a massive amount of DPS. And if you are very eagle-eyed, you have noticed that there is a very strange penguin on my timer. That is Robbins. And I'm going to be real with you, chat. Does that look like the face of Mercy? Robbins is like the best character in the game. Even though he is a very strange archetype, his ability to buff the entire party is what keeps him in even like New Game Plus runs. So let's talk about Romancing Saga 3, and let's talk about this character named Boston. Boston, for all intents and purposes, is basically Dr. Zoidberg. He is a lobster man who can cast water magic and use unarmed attacks. Unfortunately, because he has lobster claws for hands, he can't equip any other weapons and is stuck to just using physical attacks with his fists and casting magic. Robbins is very similar. Because Robbins is pretty much happy feet, he can't equip weapons, but he has his own set of unarmed attacks. With Robbins as well, he's a very good spellcaster, and his stats are insanely optimized. Like, he has extremely good endurance, so he's very tanky. He has very good strength, so his unarmed attacks are still good as well. Very good sense, so he can cast magic efficiently. So the only thing that he doesn't have is focus, and he doesn't need that because, well, he's already a good spellcaster with sorceries, so you can completely skip the fact that he needs Sigimancy. So the reason why we offer to be his bodyguard is because we need to get something called the fish jerky from him. The fish jerky sells for 3,000 gold, and we need that for the run. I'm gonna adjust my notes a little bit. Alright, so far so good. I'm going to do a time loss right now. This is why I love Robbins. This is the best. He is the best boy. And every time I proc Robbins, or every time Robbins procs an unarmed skill, I'm going to add a Robbins to the stream overlay. So there are a total of 4 skills he can proc. All of them are insanely good. Alright, so coming up is the next major break, so if anybody needs like a 2 to 3 minute break, I will let you know when it starts, and once again, please stay hydrated. I come from the era of Twitch chat where every like 15 minutes you get Hydrobot telling you to drink water, and boy howdy do I need water. Alright, look at Azura right now for this cutscene. She's our navigator. Remember, the game... Reminder that Grossa took away her sight, but she can still kind of see because of Sigimancy, so not really, she's not that blind, I guess. Yeah, but with Azura's power of detecting Sigimancy, she can kind of sense where ether gates are coming from, but this entire section is... I like to title this section as Gene is the worst character, because he's gonna do something that's not really great. We're just gonna ignore that town right now. The worst you get is just Rachel saying like, yo, what gives? There's a town there, why are we going up this mountain? But we're gonna go to, up to Hakude Castle, which is the next area. And once again, break is going to happen real soon, so if you guys need water, you guys need to go to the bathroom, this is going to be about a 2-minute break. A 2 to 3 minute break, actually, so get quite a bit of time to rest. Yeah, Gene's going to not... I'm just going to say that until, like, we actually get into the plot. Because, like, if I actually tell you what Gene is going to do, like, you're not gonna believe me, you're gonna think I'm memeing. Like, I feel like Jean is basically trying to, like, cosplay, like, legitimately cosplay Robin from Fire Emblem Awakening, but has zero understanding of what made Robin cool as a character, you know? But that's just me. Okay, break starting now, so everybody take a 2-minute break, and everybody chill. Alright, there we go. Alrighty, yeah, so you get a pretty long break, and like that one episode from Dexter's Laboratory where Dexter's dad is waiting for muffins, you're just sitting around and waiting, and waiting, and waiting. And if you're wondering why I'm like having all these references, I decided to theme my commentary as core memory unlocked. Like, I feel like since I have been out of the speedrun game and out of just like the entire meta in general, I just decided to say, well, let's just go all in. Let's just try to have as many references to like things you may have forgotten in the past, because that'd be cool. So yeah. Alright, so back to the plot. Jean... Alright, we get captured because we have demons in the party, Ignace and Vivian, and they assume that we are in cahoots with them. But after a while, Jean says, wait, no, that's incorrect. Jean and Ignace are our... Vivian and Ignace are our prisoners. So we wanted to bring them to you, oh graceful lord, so that we may work in your service. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, so they're prisoners, right? We'll treat them as prisoners while you guys get to go free. God, I hate Jean. And I'm not saying that because Vivian is my waifu. Okay, I'm gonna stop on one dialogue. This is how I feel about Jean. It's great. Like, I love how the game actually points out that Jean is not a good person. Yeah, they put my wife in furry jail. I'm sorry, they also put the husband in furry jail. So next we're gonna get a snow rabbit because we need to do reconnaissance for these guys. Because we need to prove our loyalty to the people of Hakude, we are going to infiltrate a demon camp that is waiting outside of Hakude Castle to basically capture them. And before I forget, I'm going to purchase 5 braided hats. These hats are very important because we have a lot of resistance to overcome. I haven't talked about resistances, but with this game, you can describe the resistance as a sliding scale of emojis. So you have poop emoji, which is your weakness, You have minus sign, which is neutral. You have circle sign, which is pretty resistant. You have okay hand sign, which is very resistant. And then you have star, which is very good resistance. I don't know what the symbols correlate to with numbers, but I can at least tell you that star resistance is better than poop emoji resistance. No, hitboxes are not different. I'm actually playing at a disadvantage by using Robins, but that's just how much I love Robins. Like, nothing is faster if you change characters, but I just like Robins, so there's that. But going back to the talk about resistance, with most games, you would have some very clear understanding of what a certain level of resistance means. So let's go with Pokemon, right? With Pokemon, if you are a fire type and you get attacked by a fire attack, you're gonna get it's not very effective, right? That's a 50% reduction in the damage that you take. For example, Dartrix, who looks like Leonardo DiCaprio from Titanic, gets 4 times the amount of ice damage because he is a flying type and a grass type. So it's a very simple chart that you can understand, and you have a very clear understanding of what is strong and what is weak, and by how much damage you will be being hit by. When it comes to Saga, and well, when it comes to really this game, you don't really understand what the symbols mean. You just know that... Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of time loss here. You only understand that resistance goes up, but by how much you don't really know. This is also a very cool mount. It's so precious. But the backside of the Snow Rabbit kind of looks like Peter Griffin from a certain angle, so take that as you will. And the Snow Rabbit, I don't really like it that much, because if you just look straight ahead, you can't really see what's in front of you, so you do have to angle the camera like 15 degrees to the side in order to make sure you can react to all of it. On the other hand, to compensate for the otherwise huge hitbox, the Snow Rabbit will join you in battle. It's basically going to jump in, deal about 250 damage to all enemies, and in some cases it can actually one-shot the enemy. So it's helpful. It does this woo sound whenever you jump, and it's pretty cool. But unfortunately, my one true love is the Ornithopter, and they did my Ornithopter dirty once again by saying that the Ornithopter's wings are frozen shut, which in terms of story actually makes sense, right? The Rain Realm is a very humid environment and is optimized for a temperature range that doesn't have water freeze, so it does make sense, but it certainly does beg the question of why a zero humidity environment like the Burning Realm is able to use the Ornithopter without any change to the ether gates. Oddly enough, the bunny is a time loss compared to the Ornithopter, because the jump, if you do miss it, is a bit of a time loss. Alright, so we're gonna go infiltrate them Shadow Moses style, but unfortunately we can't bring the entire team, and if we get detected, we have to run back to the entrance and start again. So we are gonna get the 2 sneaky guys, the sneaky boy, Renzo, and the other infiltrator, Rachel. Weirdly enough, Rachel has scouting, but Renzo does not. But I thought it was really interesting that you have the information broker and the actual infiltrator being the only 2 characters that can participate in this section. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, the giant duck is the robot by one of the characters, Tiki. So it's basically like the mech archetype from Saga games. It has its purpose, and we are going to see the last of its use right now within this section. Well, I have mentioned that this section in particular is very Suikoden-like. The team is constantly being split up, right? We don't have Jean, we don't have Rachel. We don't have... No, we have Jean and Rachel, we don't have Vivian and Ignace, because they are technically prisoners, and we just had to split up with Rachel and Renzo. So the team is constantly being split up, and this is going to be a theme towards the climax of this arc, where we have to split our team in several groups. So we give the supply ledger to the people of Hakude, and Jean says, oh yeah, you remember the people that we said were prisoners, you know, Vivian and Ignace? They're actually our friends. Can we have them back? And if I'm remembering the story correctly, the people of Hakude were ready to execute them. So Jean more or less gambled with both of their lives. Yeah. Thankfully, we have them back, but they have been stripped of their equipment. I'm going to take a time loss again to make sure I have Vivian equipped, because I always forget to equip Vivian. If I do not equip Vivian properly, it is a very high possibility that this is a rip run if I do not have a safety save. And unfortunately for this entire section and towards the end of the game, or towards the end of this arc, it is going to be a massive time loss should I not menu this correctly. So I'm going to do that right now. Want her to... It is only one weapon that I equipped on her, but you would be shocked as to how many times I forgot to equip that on her. Something also weirdly of note, every time you run into these doors, you bonk a little bit. But we are going to be meeting the enemy force on a bridge that we saw on the town that we skipped when we entered this realm. And shoutouts to Chrono Trigger, because it's going to be a battle on the bridge. Okay, also shoutouts to Final Fantasy V, because that fight is also going to be kind of wild. We're going to have a few skippable fights, and for that reason I want to have Galil as low HP as possible. Yes, Galil is still equipped with some armor, but his HP is low enough that he can still get one shot. Excellent. I'm actually going to go down the path and only take jumps if I really need to. I have terrible luck with choosing the right ledges to jump off from, and I can easily end up in a time loss situation, so I want to be careful with that. We are approaching the halfway mark of the game, and this is the part where the game gets pretty real. So, for most of the game, it's been pretty much easy just going from point A to point B, maybe the occasional annoying fight, but there has really been no challenge. This entire section, after the bridge section, it is going to be very, very difficult, and if you do not make your equipment choices correctly, you can easily get wiped. This is the point in the game in a casual play where most people get walled. Not through the writing or anything, but more of just if you're trying to go for an all recruitment run, the game is pretty much going to throw the rug from under you. So right now I'm just going to have one character be the vanguard and one character be the rear guard, because you're going to notice this does not matter. You can fail this, you can win this. If you do win it, you get a few items, but if you fail it, the game just continues. Okay, gonna position myself right here. There you go. I've actually missed that by going way to the edge, so... Okay, didn't get one shot. I actually didn't get one shot. Literally 1 HP left. There was nothing I could do because Gallo's health is 50. But most of the time, you get enough damage that you get like 100 damage. You just got a really bad roll for damage. I could have unequipped Gallo, but then I'd have to re-equip him, so... You want to keep him alive for every fight after this, so it'd be a time loss either way. There you go. Okay, I'm going to make a save right here. If I do my menu incorrectly, I am going to risk a 5-minute time loss, because you have no other time to save. You can do a quick save right before you leave, but that still begs the question of you have to do all your prep again, and you have the likelihood that you will skip something in your prep again. So you want to be very careful with these next set of menus. And to anyone who is playing this game casually for the first time, if you do not care about recruiting every single character, I highly recommend that you build your team exactly the way I have. It's extremely safe, it's extremely consistent, but you are going to have to sacrifice a few NPCs. So that is a choice you have if you do not grind. Okay. I'm going to take some time here, I'm going to make a quick save here. Alright. So, you have seen a couple of squads being split up, but for the most part, you're going to have to split up in 3 squads, because this game is going to get Suikoden 2 very quickly. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit quiet here, because I need to make sure I have all of my allocations, all of my purchases properly allocated. Like collapse. Okay, that is the menu. Gonna rest. Final safety save. Now I'm going to be allocating all of that. So we're going to have to split our party into 3. The first one is going to be the emergency rear guard. If any enemy gets to Azura, it is rip run. Not want to change. So the 2 teams we're going to have. You want to have this team for a few reasons. Gallo is going to be your Demon Slayer, and he's also going to have a light sword. Okay, you want to unequip that from... He is fine. Rachel, you want to have the... Strong... Okay. Sniper, that's good. Vivian, okay, I have the light sword. Excellent. Wait, no, Renzo is not equipped yet. Okay, we're good with Renzo. Alright, and this is the final squad. This was the original OG squad, and you want to make sure they are properly equipped. Now I want... Sure. There we go, that's cleaner. Okay, that's it. Normally I'm much faster than that in a speedrun setting, but in a marathon setting, I am taking full stops. You need to make sure everyone is equipped exactly the way that I have in my notes. Again, if you do not, you run the risk of rip run, because there is a DPS check for the final boss, and if you do not make those DPS checks, you are done. The boss of this section will have about 18,000 to 19,000 health, and we are just barely able to meet that. So within this entire section, you are split up in 3 groups, and you have to make the very difficult choice of sacrificing potential party members and having a lot of the residents of Hakone Castle killed, or preventing anything coming to Azura. We, in every single case, have to prevent everything coming to Azura. It is not only faster, but it is the only way we can possibly continue. You start seeing the weakness of Galil and Azura. Because they are blank slates and because they have very low stats, they cannot hold their own on any fight. Because we have not spent any time getting our weapon talents increased or awakened, we have to struggle with what little equipment we have, and thankfully we have just enough to do well on both teams. I'm going to make sure Galil's on the Demon Slayer, make sure Renzo is on the Exceed Knife. Tiggy, always do that. Switch to the Silent Sniper, use Break Bow, and then use Thunder Emission. So we're going to compensate on the weaker team by not only having Renzo, but having stronger weapons. And there we go. Okay, that's okay if Galil learns anything, because we need Galil to learn as many skills as we can, because we need to make sure we hit that DPS check. In terms of the other party is pretty much 100% optimized. If we can get something called the Strike of Luck on both axe users, that would be great. But for the most part, I want them to get Onslaught as fast as possible. We are very quickly running out of time to proc Onslaught. If we do not proc Onslaught at the very least, then we're going to have a lot of damage problems coming endgame. Okay, we got it. Okay, that's good with Ignace. I'm going to switch to Onslaught for Ignace, and then probably start using Gigant Bomber on Barbarossa. Okay, how's my SP going? Okay, very good. If you were very lucky with SP, you don't have to use Power Syrups at all. I do purchase a lot of them out of Paranoia, and I still do. So yeah, a lot of people. We're going to be sacrificing a lot of people. It's not great. We are not saving the people. We are doing this for speed because we don't really have another choice. Rachel is honestly like the stealth MVP of this group because she can learn very powerful skills like Triple Paradox. So she's... You wouldn't think... Oh my god, she got Bear Barrage too. Right, this is why Rachel is extremely good. Like, she has very high proc rates for whatever reason, and it's just excellent for bows and just making sure that you are okay and on top of your damage for all of these sections. This is another optional character, Shiki. We are going to be getting Shiki. He is pretty much he's like the cool old guy character, and he is also the strongest character in the game, but also the most fragile. That's his kind of character archetype. He is the glass cannon. I already learned all in. Okay, this is good. This is a very good Shiki. No, that's not good, but that's fine. Just a little bit of a time loss, but we're okay. Also, just the music slaps in this section, so... Oh, she learned 5 dead shots. Okay, we're pretty good with damage at this point. I'm hoping because all it takes is just bad RNG with damage, and again, you have a rip run, but a lot of the skills that you are getting is just a buffer. Renzo really needs to learn more weapon skills because he does not have anything very powerful yet. Ideally, he would be learning saturation attack, but Gale Thrust is okay. But I really need him to do something other than that. Like, we are really struggling with Renzo. So for a little bit of added paranoia for RNG, your damage that comes out of an ignition is extremely variable. So if you remember way back in the beginning of the game, when Azura used Crimson Echo against Grossa, that damage can range anywhere from 900 damage to 500 damage. There is very little in between, and if you get memed on by RNG, you get memed on by RNG. That's it, because the weapon immediately breaks and you have no recourse. So, not great. Okay, I can use Thunder Emission again. That's good. Yeah, SP management is a little bit dicey. I probably could have gotten away with... We're fine. Right, next section. Switch to Onslaught, Dragon Bomber. Cool. So Ignace really being good with skills, but because he has a low damage, it's not... You're gonna see him deal very comparable damage to Barbarossa, if not even less damage, because he has a bad weapon. And he has just bad stats, so really not great. Okay. If I quick save here, I overwrite the safety save. I think I have everybody equipped to the best of their ability, but I cannot miss this rest. So, I think I'm gonna be fine. But if I fail here, this is going to be a gigantic time loss. And the reason why I have a 4-hour estimate when the world record for the PC version is 3 hours 30 minutes, and my average is 3 hours 15 minutes. I'm dreading this fight, but shoutouts to Suikoden 2 Final Boss, where it is going to be every time your party members get wiped out, you move on to the next one. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to sacrifice Azura, because she can't really do much. But this is a DPS check. The moment Grossa uses, what is it, Dark God Oath, or something like that, when he charges up, you are going to be dead. So you do not want that to happen, because he's going to use Armed Intervention and just wipe your team. To my knowledge, no one can resist this yet, so... Okay, I'm going to be really careful here. I'm going to be counting my damage as well. I'm a sniper, excellent. Okay, 300. Okay, 2k. 2k. Okay, good. Okay, not... We have enough damage, we can probably survive. Switch. Also just really good music. Sword dancing, okay, that's good. First strike, not good. Good. Okay, Devil Snatch, okay, that's okay. Okay, still dealing damage, okay. Still on. Oh, we're fine. We should be fine. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's really not good. That should have killed him. Return. Oh my. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. that happened. Only in a marathon setting would that happen. I'm saving. Yeah, the game does that. I swear if that happens on the final fight. Yeah, of course I'll like do this freaking Tekken, like just general jab just to kill him in one shot kind of thing. Of course that happens. Alright, so remember how I said this game, The Alliance Alive, is all about building an alliance? We're actually going to do that now. We're going to start gathering a bunch of people, and we're going to first recruit Shiki. And Shiki is pretty easy to recruit. All you gotta do is go into this bar, and any of the choices that he gives you, he'll accept as an answer. So one of the choices is actually believing in nothing, so shout out to the Big Lebowski. You can believe in nothing and he'll still follow you. Okay, this is one of the characters that we need. I'm going to change up my party right now. And you're going to see the endgame party right now. Don't move. You want to be careful with your assignments as well, because they do affect... Gotta strip everyone of equipment first, because I need to... I'm gonna notice these weapons are broken. We gotta fix that real quick. There we go. We're gonna be releasing a lot of these guys out of prison. Some of them are a little bit tricky to recruit, but some of them is just choosing the right dialogue option. Sometimes you have to pay them money. But for most of this run, we're not going to be getting that many people. I think we're going to get like 20 people at most. But the reason why I want to get these people is to get a damage boost. So I'll talk about that when it actually becomes relevant. But for now, we're just going to get everyone we can. This is important to do. You want to make sure that you rest and repair all of your equipment, because the next thing we're going to be doing is going back to our original quest of destroying all of the ether gears. And without the ether gears, without proper equipment, the next fight is very difficult to beat. This is pretty much the endgame team. I'm not going to be deviating from anyone else. We pretty much have 5 DPSers and maybe like one kind of support unit, but the only way we're going to be getting healing is through the use of items called the medicine pack. The medicine pack, if you have noticed, we only have 2 accessory slots, but the problem is with Saga games, that accessory slot can also be the slot for your items. So if you want to constantly be accessing items, you need to have the medicine pack, which is extremely heavy, but also doesn't give you any stats like accessories. So it is an opportunity cost for a constant amount of items and healing versus what could basically be status resistance or anything of the like. Unfortunately, for this run, we do not have many sources of healing, and healing in general, even with spells, is very stingy. So, medicine packs are often the best way of getting around that. We're going to take the same route again, but we are going to have a very nice Ornithopter when we get out of here, so yes, we are going to be losing quite a bit of time just getting here, but it's a nice time just to relax and just kind of recover and make sure that we are ready for what is to come afterwards. Thanks to having Ignace on a more offensive role, even though he doesn't deal a lot of damage, he contributes quite a bit in the long term. Same thing with Renzo. While Renzo doesn't have a lot of damage, a collective increase of DPS of about 1,000 per turn, possibly even 1,500 if you're lucky, is going to save you, because towards the end of the game, if we are over-reliant on both Barbarossa and Shiki, they're going to run out of SP very quickly. The high-tier attacks cost way too much SP, and their SP regeneration, without a lot of very costly talents, is minimal. You only get 1 SP per turn, and for reference, a lot of their strongest attacks cost 5 SP, so not great. Do a quick check on my talent. Yeah, we're fine. This is the first time we ever see Vivian and Azura use their abilities to open a door, but Diggy has figured out if you have the right amount of charge that is channeled through Sigimancy and Sorcery, and using the Swan Song as a conduit, you can open these doors. It's unusual that the doors have to be opened with both mutually exclusive schools of magic, and that is only adding to this mystery of the game. Alright, let's make sure everyone is ready to go. Onslaught. Right. So by going all in, you really shorten a lot of the fights, which is excellent, because back in my old world record attempts and the old meta, really, there was a very marginal emphasis on safety. But as a result, you have a lot less DPS, and consequently, all the fights, because they're longer, are a lot riskier. So by shortening the fights by increasing DPS, yes, it's still about the same level of risk, but you do... I'm choosing right now if I should use attack, and I'm just going to do that on Shiki. I'm making the choice between just going all in on damage, and I've made the choice and I can't really go back from it. So, going back to this discussion of safety in this run, there was a slight misconception that more safety equals, you know, perfect runs, but there has to be this happy medium of a lot of damage and a lot of caution, and the caution really comes from being reactive to what happens in all the fights. So, I haven't really proven that because, again, I haven't run this in 4 years, so I could just be making stuff up on the fly. But I'm hoping that a lot of my practice runs have demonstrated that there is more consistent to go all out with damage. And even then, I can't really escape the old muscle memory of going to like certain realms after certain places. But that's really just a me problem. But we're gonna go out of order normally and go to... We're gonna go to the Rain Realm first, and this is one of the harder Ether Gears to unlock, but now that we have a lot of damage, I think we're fine. Also helpful that we're going to get the, we're going to recruit 2 more characters. So if you remember way back in the beginning of the game, where Azura was more or less blocked by 2 guards now that there is no botter, they're kind of aimless, so they're perfect recruits to get into our team, and we absolutely want them in because they're going to be vital for our run. This is the part where Azura gets a little bit more backstory. I was joking very early on in the run that that Gallo and Azura are basically Vaughn and Pinello respectively, but Azura has a lot more story behind her. That snake in the middle is who killed Azura's mother, and why Wyatt has those scars. So there is quite a bit of backstory, and even then with Renzo and Barbarossa, they're still very protective of her, and it's still going to come back to haunt us later in the game as well. Okay, we unlocked something. I'm going to add a Robin to the overlay. Thank you, Machine Gun Flipper. That is very helpful for the run. Oh yeah, people are saying the accursed hippopotamus. Yeah, everybody has trauma from the hippos. Nobody likes them. So remember, every time Robins sparks a new skill, I'm going to add a Robins to the overlay. There are still 3 more skills that Robins can proc. Next up is the Burning Realm, and this is the final Ether Gear that we can unlock to our knowledge. So I want to save this for last, and like I mentioned earlier, it's because once we are done unlocking all the Ether Gears, we warp back to the ship. It takes a very long time to get back from the Burning Realm, and in older runs it is generally seen as safer, because it's a lot easier than the Rain Realm. So because we have more damage, it is a lot easier, and we don't really have to worry about the Rain Realm nearly as much as we did in the past. So we can freely take the Burning Realm first and have a very significant time save. Although for all intents and purposes, I could just be talking out of my... I could just be making stuff up again, and for all I know, this could actually be like the optimized route now, so I don't know. Here is a pretty nice cutscene skip, so I'm gonna get... If this thing... Okay. I had to prematurely do that, but... I made it. Nice. 100% intended. That is the Alliance Alive way. All you have to do is... you don't look like a bumbling idiot, and you can just say that was intentional. Because that is the Alliance Alive way. There are 2 routes that you can take for to getting to the Ether Gear in the Burning Realm. I'm going to take the shorter but kind of more button mash intensive one, because if you don't button mash correctly with the Ornithopter, you can easily fail to hit it. The other safer route revolves around Blue's Oasis. It is much longer, but it is next to impossible to mess up. You can basically just glide down there. This one takes a little bit more effort, but thankfully you can just kind of mash through it. Nice. I actually don't know what Shiki says if you believe in money. I think it's like, oh, you're a mercenary. Okay, I'll join you. I think it's something to that, like, effect. Unfortunately, Robbins is, yes, I say he's the funny family man, but he's literally just secret character 1, and Shiki is just secret character 2. They don't really have much of an impact on the story after a certain point. Although Robbins is a lot wackier, so he does have some funny moments. This is Rock Hippo 2, so he is a pretty good source for proccing things, so if you want, I'll make sure if we can get that. Still not proccing Onslaught on Barbarossa, which is a problem but completely on brand for him. Oh, okay. All you gotta do is just trash talk him. Who knew? Absolutely a life lesson of saturation attack, okay. Okay, once again, the Alliance Alive experience, just trash talk the game until it follows and obeys you, so yeah, if you're ever feeling like you're stuck, just remember to curse at the game, I guess. Alright, so now that we have all of the ether gears we can unlock, here's another good break. So if anybody needs to go to the restroom, go ahead and feel free to do so. I do have to stay because it is a little bit more involved as I have to walk around and skip cutscenes. But if anyone wants to take a quick break, I can just kind of have a recap afterwards. Shoutouts to my boy Renzo, absolutely thrashing it on the loot. Also shout out to my boy Ignace. Nice little skip, you can just walk behind that thing. So we have a party. Ignace gets drunk and actually is kind of cool, but now that we've unlocked a lot of the ether gears, we can now fly. This is going to be very helpful because we're going to be collecting a majority of the characters that we're going to be putting into the alliances and getting a very nice and noticeable power bump real soon. So first things first, we got to answer a bunch of trivia. So everybody, I hope you have your calculators because we're going to have to do a little bit of basic math. Fun. So we gotta make sure the math gremlins over here challenge us to a math contest. So we gotta make sure we got all our notes. So everybody get ready. Alright, 1 times 1. Alright, that's 1. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 15, right? Okay, 4 times 7 times 2 is 56. That is just canceled out in order of operations, so that's just 100. That whole thing is going to be 23. Okay, 1305. Okay, what is the current question right now? It's currently question number 7. Next up is 2 to the, I want to say 7th power, so that's 128. Remember, the 8th power is 256, right? Remember, power of 256 minus 1 is 255. 4701. And then the youngest character in this section is going to be Renzo. Alright, cool. Hope you guys like math. Right, I think this is also the same time as that, you know, that one, like, rap song, Quick Maths. Yeah, I wish I remember that, but... yeah. It is absolutely a game of its era. I'm gonna make sure we get all of these characters. And before we leave, we want to make sure we get a treasure chest that is worth 3,000 gold. Okay, next up, we have an antidote. If we picked up an antidote during the Caged Realm when we were jailbreaking the entire party. And the reason why we want to have an antidote is because we need to save, well, we need to save a family. If we give them an antidote, we get 2 extra guild members, which is really great. Shout out to the bad end route of the Suikoden 2 run, because we basically get like one of these like goblin zombie things on our team, but they're pretty nice, and they're actually pretty cool. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quick save, and I'm going to enter a menu. If I mess up on this menu, I'm just going to restart. Okay, so the rule of thumb here for the run is every time I get a choice between Sigimancy and Tactics, I want to choose Sigimancy exactly once. I will explain why once I'm done with this menu. What? Did I not? No. Okay, it's okay. I have a safety for this. I think it might actually be safer to do, it might be safer I just go back to Rain Realm. I'm not panicking. You're panicking. No, so what happened there was, I think I mismenued something. So that is unusual, because for most of my runs, I was able to get away with, I was able to get away with all of those assignments correctly, so I'm not really sure what happened. But, the reason why you don't want to, kill any of the guards there is because they can be applicants, and they are Sigimancy. So, the reason why you want to have all of this in the... you want to allocate all of them correctly, or you should allocate them correctly, is because you need to have exactly 3 characters remaining for the Tactics Guild. You want to make sure you allocate enough characters in the Sigimancy Guild because you have this skill that plays off one another in the Tactics and Sigimancy Guild. That being the ceiling of skills. If you remember, I've been trying to scramble to unlock a lot of arts on my characters, and I can seal them at will. If you seal them, you get a tiny little power boost as noted on the bottom of your screen. The problem is that we don't have that many skills with the exception of Renzo, who has 12. So that's going to be a very noticeable power spike for Renzo, but for everybody else, we're going to need to spend a little bit of time learning a little more skills. If we can, we need to unlock at minimum 10 skills, because that's going to give us a marginal power boost. I keep saying marginal power boost, but let me quantify that. Right now, Renzo is having difficulty getting 1,000 damage. If you seal enough skills, you can start seeing 1,000 to even 1,200 damage, if RNG is nice to you. So, they are absolutely essential for this run, because if you do not have Ignition, you need to make sure your damage per turn is high. We have seen Grossa fail one time, so now we see Society Rouge, the bat, come into play. So a Society Rouge man is going to be the antagonist of this arc when we go into the... what is the realm name? Into whatever realm this is. I call it the Technicolor Rainbow Realm, but I have no idea what it's actually called. This is the other character that we can recruit, Matilda. We cannot recruit her in the context of the speedrun because we have to fight dragons and they are way too powerful for us. In a casual setting, Matilda is Ignace, but actually good. It's basically, Matilda is statted properly as a spear user and a caster. I want to be careful here. What is this called? The Crystal Realm. Okay, that's what it's called. So we're gonna go to Estern, and if you cannot enter a town on a dragon like a normal human being would, what are you doing? So the only way you can actually get onto most of these towns is through dragon, so yeah, I guess that's cool. I'm gonna go into a shop right now and I'm gonna sell whatever equipment I have. Okay, excellent. We're gonna buy the Warlord, the second strongest axe in the game, and buy 15 Pax medicines because I'm paranoid, and we should have enough items. So this game, if you have noticed, is a little bit biased towards axes. Axes are a very powerful weapon, but much like Fire Emblem, they're very inaccurate. They will be dealing the bulk of the damage, but swords have a very close second. You do get a lot of good swords. Everything else kind of doesn't matter, I'm sad to say. But in terms of like actually getting weapons in a casual play, bows are extremely good. Spears are a little bit weird, but yeah, you don't really get that many opportunities here with weapons. This is going to be a nice little optional scene if you have Robbins in your party, and it's just highlighting his wackiness. I love him. Robbins is very much well-needed comic relief in an otherwise extremely serious game, so I welcome Robbins. Okay, keeping an eye on our talent because we want to spend a little bit of time reallocating things if we can. Oh, another absolutely Kino Robbins moment. I wonder what Robbins was afraid of. It turns out there were dragons there. Alright, so in order to fly around in Estern like a normal human being, we have to kill a dragon, or tame a dragon. So you already saw that... You already saw the amount of damage that Renzo just output, so really good if you can unlock a lot of these skills. You do want to spend a little bit of time in the next area trying to proc as many skills as you can, because that's going to help in the long run. Yes, these skills are going to be very weak, but for the most part they are going to be contributing to damage, like Reckoning with Shiki, and if possible you can get Art of the Sword with Shiki as well. So that's really going to be cleaning up a lot of our damage issues. That is like 100% on brand for being on a dragon. Like the moment you get out, you just immediately bonk into an enemy. That is 100% on brand. Okay, make sure the town is in view. Nice. So for this section, we gotta talk to 3 specific characters. And we want to make sure that... Yeah, I'm gonna do a safety save here because for whatever reason, whenever I get out of the inn for this area, I crash. It's only happened once in my practice runs, but it can happen again, so you want to be careful. I'm gonna quick save. You're also gonna get the innkeeper judging you for how weird you snore. Just... okay, cool, I guess. Quick save right here. Okay, cool, we didn't crash. Yeah, but with the dragon, you sometimes move so fast that you just run into them. Oh, I didn't talk to, yeah, I wasn't supposed to just loot his house, I was supposed to talk to this guy. Okay, I'm gonna take that order gem too. Cool, there we go. I'm gonna start proccing some skills. No, you... yeah. So yeah, it looks like we're wasting a lot of time, but you really do need this just to sure up your damage. So the next fight, I'm gonna go all out. So that's still, what, 2 or 3 skills that everybody has, so that's very helpful. That's really good, especially for Shiki. So he definitely needs all those skills. Good. You're fine. Nice. That's really good. There is no merit on giving anything to your reserve party members. They're just there. After the, of course all the order gems go away, but there is really nothing that they contribute anymore outside of Hakude Castle. You can completely ignore them. It kind of sucks, but it's really all about making your own team and whatever you want to do. But from this point onwards, the game does not split up any of your party members, and it is just a it's a mad dash to the end. Here's the bunny squad. You got what's his face, that guy, and cool guy. You can recruit these guys in the New Game Plus route, but something I didn't mention was that depending on how many times you've completed the game and how many times you've looped through New Game Plus, you can unlock certain characters you can add to your guild. So, took a little bit longer than anticipated, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers here. that fight is a little bit scuffed because you only have 3 characters that you can choose from, and you only have like 2 actual weapon abilities, so there's not much you can do in terms of anything else. So Society Rouge person is going to be, yeah, just stealing the sword. We don't know why, but apparently that unlocks the Ether Gate. So the people of Estern have been tasked with guarding this realm, but for whatever reason it looks like Rouge wants to unlock it. So it seems like some sort of plan has been set in motion by unlocking the Ether Gears, but again we're not really sure what is going on. All we know is that Rouge has hurt the Sty Hierarch, the leader of Estern, and that's really all we got going off of, so... Next, we're going to go into the Eye of the Storm. Shoutouts to me in 2020, where I very callously bragged about being able to get in here with like no problem, and then just spent like 1 minute circling around. So I'm going to try and do better than the me of 4 years ago, and like not actually mess up. So, all right, what you want to do? Follow the rainbow, right? Remember the colors of Roy G. Biv, except go in reverse. The shape that you want to be flying in is kind of like, shape of like a reverse question mark. Good. Make it nice and slow. Kind of hug the wall a little bit. Okay, I see something there. Good. That's orange, that's red. Alright, good, I did it right. We did it. Okay, this section is... I don't think anybody likes this section. It is a marathon level that really depends on how well you have the Recon Guild set up. If you have the Recon Guild set up, it's actually not that hard. If you don't, it is a marathon. The reason why I purchased all of those power syrups is exactly for this area. You don't really have time to rest, and it is going to be suffering. Alright, first thing you want to do is you want to replace the first person in your party with Gabble. You just want to run away. And for an easy way to remember the route for this entire section is just go left. Shout outs to the Ed and Eddie episode where they build a tower and Eddie's catchphrase and like buzzword was like up. All you gotta do is just go up and just go left. Want to be careful, you don't want to enter any battle chains. If you enter a battle chain from here on out, it is going to be a restart. So you want to be careful. And if you're like me, you want to make sure that Renzo is in the party, or not Renzo, Ignace is in the party, because I have entered fights, and I have entered the Rouge fight with Gallo in my party instead of Ignace. Okay, I'm gonna use this time to learn a few things. One of the dangers of this section is that you deal too much damage and you start using way too many powerful skills that burn through your SP. So it's always a happy medium with this section. And you don't want to get shocked by lightning as well, because that can happen. You can get paralyzed. You can legitimately get chain stunned as well. So, yeah, not great. Remember, always go left and up. Okay, be careful. And in general, you don't want to spend time, like, waiting for them. You can wait for them, but you don't want to waste too much time just having them sit around. So, and even then, there is a possibility of entering a battle chain. I have entered one a few times in a row during my practice runs. Never fun. You would think that sword dancing is power efficient, but in terms of DPS, it actually plays out pretty well, because sword dancing it's 5 separate attacks, and to my knowledge, ceiling increases, ceiling increases based on the number of hits, if I'm not mistaken, so you start seeing a massive power spike. I could be wrong with that, but sword dancing is that happy medium, especially with Renzo, because once Renzo is out of SP, you can quickly convert him into a heal bot. So that way you can trade off with Robins, and he can go back to doing things like Penguin Madness or like any other DPS, because he has a very large SP pool. So, okay. I think we're fine. Okay, nice. Hell Rage, not bad. Pressure, nice. Nice. I'm surprised that didn't hit me. You want to grab something called Lightning Rocks. Lightning Rocks are very important because they're one of very few sources of status ailment resistance in this game. So I want to have Ignace and Robins to be resistant to status ailments. Particularly with Ignace, I want to make sure he doesn't fall to Berserk. And with Robins, he is very fast. So he is going to be our item caddy to get out of things like the Berserk status by using the item Axe Medicine. So, yeah, we're good. Okay, go in. Okay, cool. After this, I'm gonna go restore my SP. Just remember that I purchased the Warlord. Cool. That one always fakes you out. It looks like it's gonna go back, but it's gonna take way too long. You might as well just run into it because the time lost by just waiting for the little buddy over there is going to be the same as just running into a fight and then retreating. Especially so on the remastered versions. That one you want to be careful about. Nice. Oh yeah, there are some like fun, wacky jokes. Like, I mean, honestly, it is a testament to Murayama's writing that despite having a very serious game, he can still have enough comic relief that it's just nice and just like a chill game. So, and I haven't said in a while, but this is a marathon run for all the games that Murayama had a hand in. Oh my. Okay, thanks game. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to take this fight. Yeah, chains are fun. I love them as much as I love the stomach flu. Thankfully, it's not that painful. It could actually be a lot worse. I just had to say it could be a lot worse, and it actually just got worse. I think we're fine. If anything, I'm just gonna die and just burn 3 of my, I can't wait. Anything? Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to take the L here. Yeah, this is what happens when you get into a battle chain. It's not great. I'm just gonna wait for everyone just to die. And if anything, I can just flee. It's gonna be really rough moving forward. Oh no, okay, we're fine. Okay, you want to be careful. Yeah, so let that be a warning to everybody. You know, I was memeing, I was having a good grand old time with all of the fights I've been dodging, but you do not want to get into a battle chain. If you do, and if you don't save very frequently, that is what happens. So, pretty big time loss. Of course, I get shocked. But, yeah, this is kind of that part of the game for everybody. So, like, it is an extremely solid game up until this point, and nobody I've talked to who has played this game likes this part in the least. But, with Legend of Legacy, I have played it. It is a lot more different, and it's a lot more saga in its, I guess, DNA, for want of a better term. A lot more harder to figure out. Are they dead? Okay, no, they're just stunned. That can happen. Okay, okay, we have to stop. We have to make sure that... Oh, okay, we just gotta do that. Okay. I want to make sure that doesn't... Okay, you're fine. Okay, just as intended. Absolutely intended. You learned Omni Rush? I've never seen Omni Rush in my past... Okay, once again, this game gives, this game takes. That is like genuine confusion for me. Like, I can't believe Renzo learned Omni Rush. Like, that's usually reserved for the final boss. I'm actually, like, flabbergasted. I'm not gonna say shocked because that's a pun. Okay, I want to get this one. There it is. Alrighty, so we are nearing the end of this dungeon, and thankfully, since we were able to run from that fight, a lot of characters still have their maximum health. So, and just to get everyone back as a refresher, every time you run away from a battle, or every time you die in a fight, you lose a very small percentage of health. This can really compound and get really out of hand towards the end of the game, where if you do not have enough health, you can pretty much get one shot, get to 0 health. For designating who loses maximum HP, it is basically the first person who gets to run away in a fight. So if you don't want Gallo to lose all the health, for example, you can just menu through and then have, let's say, Barbarossa lose maximum health, but I want to keep everyone alive, so it's usually the person who runs away gets a reduction to maximum health. When it comes to losing maximum health in terms of getting damage, it is 100% RNG. Like, sometimes you lose a lot of health, sometimes you don't. Oh no, okay, nice. I want to make sure I get that last lightning rock because that is important. Okay, proceed forward, and then before I get to final section, also proceed forward. Shoutouts to what is it, Deltarune Chapter 2. Okay, want to make sure my party is ready to go. And I want to make sure I make use of those lightning rocks. Who needs it? I have a third one. Do I want to damage? I'm sacrificing damage. I can't risk this. Okay, this is the fight that is very unpredictable. Rouge is extremely picky. If you do not deal enough damage for DPS, it's going to use a it's going to enter Pissy Boss mode, and it's going to use La Danse Macabre, which is an ignition that can basically wipe your entire party. Another, that's fine. Okay. I think we're fine. Okay, I think we're fine. Okay, someone is ignition. This is perfect. Oh, thank you. Shiki's in ignition. This is really good. I think I've skipped it. That is a skip. Nice. Oh, that fight can go south so fast. Like, I kid you not, it is extremely normal once Rouge uses La Danse Macabre to, like, have 4 of 5 of your party members completely incapacitated. Like, it is not fun. Oh, that's really good. Okay, we are hitting the last stretch of the game right now. So, Tom88, if you are online, please get ready. We got about, what, maybe... We got about 35 minutes left if we're going... if RNG does not decide to, flip the table from under me, we've got about 35 minutes left. Otherwise, we still have quite a bit of ways to go. So... You do get a whopping 50k, but that 50k is going to go very quickly. You're basically not going to see that 50k. That's all I'm going to say. Because money route is that tight in this game. Also want to make sure I equip the Lily Marlene, and I'm going to make sure I get the Muse Lyre. Okay, we are pretty much good to go in terms of our endgame setup. 7, okay, so good. No, 150. Yeah, the money route at the very end of the game is so strict that sometimes you have to stop and think about how much you want to buy. But not entirely the best. I wish this game were a lot more consistent. But, you know, you can take what you can only get, you know? So we figured out that now that we've unlocked all of the Ether Gates, we can head back into... the Demon Realm, but we're not still sure why this is all happening. It seems like this is a big plan from the big demon himself, Kolwaza. And we've seen Kolwaza a few times before. He is the blue-horned, haired, Sephiroth-looking guy. And there is a plan that is currently happening. Again, we just don't know what's happening. I want to be careful with this menu because he's going to pay me 10,000 gold to F off, and he just kind of piss off. But we do get 10,000 gold. That is absolutely vital for the run. So, yeah. We're also going to be going into another Water Devil Den to get 5,000 gold and a better shield for Ignace. We have not used any shield for Ignace. That is actually kind of on par for the course right now. always get lost here for whatever reason, so I'm gonna be a little bit quiet. Okay. Okay, this isn't a bad fight. This is pretty much a time loss. This is a lot of safety, but you absolutely do need the 5K in this next section. Speaking of which, I should probably spend my time. Perfect time as ever to boost your scouting levels way, well, shout out to Akira Toriyama, but boost your scouting level to over 9,000. And I didn't get the Divine card. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, losing a lot of time here, but that's fine. You really want to make sure you get the Divine card. That could have been a lot cleaner, but we have everything we need. So we have a pretty stable final boss. But yeah, that 5K, absolutely necessary. Gonna go to Gears Rock, and we're gonna have another bathroom break coming up real soon. So I'm gonna have to stay a little bit longer, because we have a little bit of story and a little bit of action we have to get through, but anybody who has to run the restroom, this is pretty much your final break before the final boss. Alright, so I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to say look at the bottom right corner of your screen. Yep. Bottom right corner of your screen, that's all I'm going to say. So Kuwaza has... I think he's gonna try and become God. I mean, it's a JRPG. So he's gonna try and do something that, once the limiters of the Ether Gear is released, he's going to become... it sounds like he wants to, like, rewrite this world. I don't really remember the story. I don't remember, bottom right corner of the screen. So, I really don't know what's happening with plot because I just don't remember it. So I'm pretty sure there's something a little bit more nuanced than that, but... Once again, because we have found some forbidden knowledge, we are getting a appropriate punishment for learning said forbidden knowledge. In Vivian's case, that is going to be a loss of lifespan. Right? And... Alright, second break. So... Alrighty, we're back. So that is pretty much the last of the breaks that you're gonna have. And wait, why am I going down here? This is honestly one of the really good songs that we just don't hear very often, so I will take that time loss just to listen to it. But yeah, last of the breaks, and we are going to, or we're gonna go kill the animals. Remember, poaching is not okay unless you do it. You heard it here, folks. But yeah, we're gonna have to kill the animals for more money. Okay, we're gonna try and use this to learn any skills. I don't think we can because Robin's literally one-shots them. Alright, they're free, but now we can kill them. Oh, nice. Was not expecting Twin Spike to be procced. Yeah, those don't sell for much. Probably maybe like 100, but the money route is strict, but that is actually a time loss. Alright, so next thing, with this poached meat, we're gonna go run someone out of business. And then we're gonna go pick up some octopi. 100% not unhinged dialogue. Like, this is actually what's gonna happen, so... Roger more. Alright, cool. Now that we've run someone out of business, let's go get the last, octopi to recruit into our team. And we're gonna go back in here. Now that we have scouting, this is a lot easier, but at the same time, it's still gonna be really annoying. I'm just gonna skulk around the side. These enemies move kind of randomly, so kind of want to like approach them from different angles. Okay, I should have gotten into a battle chain for that one. Alright, cool. Absolutely not punished. So here's the problem with going to blue. We can get to the demon realm, but the problem is he's going to need 50k. Or he's going to need the 4 relics that are scattered throughout the world in those gigantic devil dens. So if you remember where I got the Exceed knife, there are 4 of them throughout the world, but you gotta either make a deal with those devils, or you have to fight them. If you fight them, they are very difficult fights, even for normal new game parties. You can make a deal with them, but that also takes a huge amount of time. So I'm just gonna take the reasonable... Oh wait, did I not give him the money? Didn't give him the money. Yeah, we're gonna have to give him the requested amount. It's kind of bogus. I mean, thankfully the Star Hierarch gave us 50k to begin with, but that 50k, if you really want to be cautious, that really goes to your endgame menus and your endgame shops, because the endgame equipment is extremely good, by which I mean the equipment has status resistance, it boosts stats. So in a regular casual new game, you absolutely want to make and save those, you want to save all that money. So they're also extremely expensive. I think like the torso armor costs like 7,000, even with bargaining and a reduction of 25% of its base sale price. Extremely expensive. Okay, we are gonna hit the final dungeon real soon. this is a menu I do not want to forget. I have constantly forgotten this menu. You want to assign the last of your recruits. Cool. Reinforce. Okay, level 3, level 5. Okay, we're good. Do a quick inspection of my equipment. You really don't want anything broken for this final area. This next fight is going to be very difficult, but if you know a certain trick with this fight, it becomes a little more controllable. Make a quick save just in case. I don't think we need the quick save, but this fight is pretty brutal. Esmeralda is going to show up again because we never really killed her, and she's going to try and stop us from entering the demon realm. She's going to sick 3 water devils at us, and what you want to do is target the water devil in the back. That is important because that will inflict, if you do not kill it, it will inflict confuse on your entire party, and it's going to be a very, very bad time. It's also very weak. Okay, we're still okay here. I'm gonna have to switch to a strong medicine on, wrong character. We're fine. Oh yeah, we're fine. We're gonna enter ignition state. So you're gonna see the reinforce in action. We have every character. I'm gonna try and burp this. With the newest level of tactics, we have Reinforce. This is a oh my god. Okay, we learned it, that's fine. We can combo our attacks and basically pull all our power together and into one big attack. So what I want to do is I want to keep dealing damage. So this is actually really good with Ignace in particular. He did something called what I call burping. Pretty much what is happening with the artifacts that you get, like the Lost Axe and the Mused Lyre, if you give them to a character that knows how to do sorcery, as in a non-human character, there is a possibility that they will learn the spell that is the ignition. So, in the case of the Lost Axe, its ignition is called Misokaio 12. There is a possibility, if you do not know Misokaio 12, you will learn it. You will basically proc it like any other skill. If you do that, that is a massive DPS loss and a massive SP loss. So what Ignace did by learning it in that fight is extremely helpful for me, because now there is zero gamble with using Misokaio 12 as an ignition. So that is actually what you want to see. So I'm getting incredibly good luck right now, but the whole meme of the Alliance Alive is that all of your luck can go out the window the moment you fight the final boss. Anything can happen. You can get... Your entire party can get confused. Your entire party can get poisoned and just get worn down. Anything can happen, and even with all of the safety that I have, I still don't know if I can do this with any level of confidence. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. In terms of plot, Vivian is rapidly dying due to Fox Die, because she's now become mortal. And we are going to have to enter Area 18, which is the Demon Realm. Problem is that because of Kolaz's machinations, it's pretty much turned the entirety of this world upside down. So, I'm just going to take some safety fights and just run from them. It is very difficult to predict the movements of these enemies, so you want to be careful. Don't want to forget is going to the pub and spending the last of your money. Alright, that's it. That's the menu. That is... You want to put the Elder Socks on everyone? I have forgotten this one time and that was Rip Run for me. I can buy a hat. Oh, I can buy a hat. I'm buying a hat. Alright, welcome to Team Fortress 2. I need hats. Alright, that was pretty much the last equipment menu in the game. From here on out, what we got is what we got. We are working with mid-tier weapons. So, it is still possible to beat this game. Very few, if you are lucky... Like, all of the equipment that was handed to us isn't the best. But we can make do. Okay, I'm gonna have to use the final resting point because I need to repair my equipment, which is also a good safety save. If I do not beat this final boss on my first run, I am going to open up a safety save where I have grinded for 1 hour. So, I have kind of been circling around this point, but most Saga games do not need grinding. But I will show you the difference between what is 1 hour of grinding and what is basically the marathon, or what is basically the speedrun. So, with my 1 hour grinding team, all I have done is spend some time in this final area fighting. The equipment is exactly the same. There is no difference between equipment. So, you are going to be seeing the sheer difference on what it's like to actually proc skills and to seal them versus what you're just given. I want to be a little bit careful here. Sometimes you can enter battle chains, and a battle chain at this point in the game is a 100% restart or a 100% fleet. There is no way you can get out of this. Great. Not so good. Okay, if we do have time, since we're... Well, I don't want to say anything yet because the run isn't over, and I'm not going to say anything about like logistics with the run until the run is over. So, as I have learned numerous times, it ain't ogre till it's ogre. I've also developed this paranoia where I think every copy of The Alliance Alive is personalized, because it knows when I'm upset with it, it knows when I'm having a good time. So... Oh, we have demolition? I probably didn't realize we had demolition. That's good. Okay. For whatever reason, this fight can cause a lot of trouble for people, but I think we're good. We still haven't unlocked all of Robin's talents yet, but just look at the DPS now. Like, that is what you want to see. And this is something that the old team didn't have. Alright, Lord Penguin Madness. Alright, that's another penguin. Oh, honestly, like, if you were on the fence about getting this game, I hope this run at least convinces you over that decision, because it is a very fun game. It is kind of cryptic in the right spots. Very huge shout out to the Alliance Alive Google spreadsheet. Like, it has literally everything you need to see, with some concessions. You don't really know, like, the inner workings of mechanics and stuff, but all I can really tell you is that there is empirical knowledge that I have. But this game is, for the most part, pretty solid, very, very consistent until the final boss. Even the outdated notes that I have from 4 years ago are pretty much all you need to run this game. I'm gonna do a little bit of counting in here. Okay, we have smithereens. Okay, it's gamer time. It is actually gamer time. Like, Violent knock, okay. Yeah, it's gamer time. Blade Waltz, excellent. That was the cleanest run I could ask for Rosa. That was super clean. Okay, I do not want to mess up these menus here. Oh man, I'm actually, like, in shock with how good that entire fight went. Smithereens is, like, the skill you want. Okay. I'm gonna take some time, and I'm gonna slow down. To one of my favorite bands, Turnover. We're going to be changing our team style type to a full guard. You absolutely want to do this. Safety save. Alright, it's gamer time. We're coming in with really good skills. We're coming in with a very solid, like a very solid team setup. This is the best, like, setup you can possibly ask for in a marathon or even speedrun setting. Okay. Okay, you want to be very careful on this fight. You need to manage your SP very very smartly. So I'm gonna have Ignace go all out and Renzo go all out as well. You want to make sure that Barbarossa and Shiki have enough SP, but you don't want to overstay your welcome. So 2 hits. Okay. 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 I'm gonna adjust. Everyone's still fine. Okay. Go all in. Save up. Breaker, okay. Okay, someone has... Okay, someone is in the ignition state. Okay, Shiki cannot die. No, use Reckoning. Forward. Breaker, okay. Okay, second phase. Second phase. Okay, you want to target the 2 wings on the side. You do not want to touch anything in the middle. Just go straight for Kawaza right afterwards. This is a complete deviation of what I've normally done, but in my practice runs, this is extremely consistent. You want to be very, very careful with your targeting. You do not want to waste anything. I repeat, anything that isn't on the sides of the 2 options or Kawaza himself. Okay, immediately put Ignace into guard. Okay, Barbarossa, target the harpoon-looking thing. The harpoon-looking thing will instantly kill any party member, so you want to be very careful. Health is good. Okay, Penguin Madness on Armed Belfry right. Okay. Now I'm good. 3k damage. Elude. Good. Okay, one more turn. Okay, Barbarossa's in. Lock. Okay. Crash Talker. That should kill it. Okay, Reckoning. Other Armed Belfry. Saturation Attack. Other Armed Belfry. Okay. How's everyone's health looking? Okay, everyone is fine. Keep going. Fine. Hard Crush. Okay, good. Second is broken. Okay. Now slow down. Yeah, this is fine. Health is good. Good. I'm hearing another. Okay, second ignition. Good. No one died. Okay. I'm doing it. Charge up. We need to stay alive. Stay alive? Okay. Okay, immediately switch to Renzo. Yes, it will. 12, good 2k, broke it. Excellent! Okay, this is good. Okay. If I do this right, this is actually a world record. No, no defense anymore. Short. Kill yourself. Reckoning. Okay, he learned Reckoning. Okay. Charge. Okay, immediately protect. No, do not waste this. Do not waste this. Chance, you have 3k. Fire Temptation. Okay, 3 people are confused. I need to get them out of confusion right now. Max Medicine. Okay, good. That's fine. Okay, one more. Get everybody back up. King's Approach. This. Okay, I have 1 more minute left. Okay. Okay, he still hasn't had his breakdown yet. Yeah, I have nothing on him now. Love Reckoning. Demon Slayer. Okay, I think I've lost world record. That's fine. He isn't breaking down yet. He still has a lot of health. Okay. Okay, this is it. Just go all in. He's having his breakdown. I don't care. Oh, he's still not dead yet. Fine. Okay, that's weird. Okay, just revive everyone now. Yeah, this is the final fight. Like, it is that brutal. If you run out, like... Okay, you're out. Reckoning. Okay, that was the first actual... that was the first time it actually worked. Okay, oh. Yeah, that is a brutal fight. You can throw everything at Kowaza, and you can still not have everything. So, that... Yeah, I'm actually... I'm very shocked that that worked. Let me check the world record right now. I'm pretty sure I didn't get world record. Yeah, no, I didn't get world record by like 8 minutes. But yeah, for a marathon setting, that was extremely consistent. Like, that is probably the best run you can probably ask for. So, that is... Once again, it is really, really good to see something like that, like, go that smoothly. So, there was a practice run that I did do that was kind of that consistent, but that was just really lucky. So, we've got quite a bit of time. I can show off what happens and what it looks like to have a actually well-grinded team, or I can like just go completely in the opposite direction and go into a save file where I've like looped through the game 4 times, and you can just see how like overpowered a team can possibly be. But yeah, I mean, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. This was the best possible run you can actually have in a marathon setting. We're gonna have Robins do the final launch order. But, yeah. Alright, so now that we're back to normal, this is pretty much humans and beastmen living in peace, so shoutouts to High Toner. But, yeah. That is the run. Unfortunately, we couldn't proc a lot of, like, Robin's extra skills, so... I mean, that's just what happens. So, there is a very secret, there's a very secret run that you can do, but unfortunately I don't have any save files that are worth using. So, if we've got some time, let's do a... I didn't hear it, okay. I can totally do just one fun run of just the final area with almost... with like very little, with very little concern. Like, this is what happens when you grind for an hour and when you get like the right skills on everybody. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I like mess this up, but yeah. But yeah, the sequel, the prequel, Legend of Legacy, is releasing like a month later, but it is... the game is extremely different. It is, like, you can't really compare them as like a flat-out sequel, so... it is... yeah, it's just a lot different than what you're used to, but I do recommend it. This time around, everybody has the strongest abilities they have. And you just saw, Yoshiki did a casual 2.4K. And there we go. So now we're actually in a situation where we have to save up. Heart of the Sword. Oh wow, Exterminate. Yeah, so this is just 1 hour of grinding, mind you. And just look how I easily melted through the first phase. Like, I'm actually in a bit of a pickle now because I have way too much, I dealt way too much damage, and I am not in an ignition state with anybody, but this should be fine. Ah, that happens. So I actually don't want to use Ignace. I don't want to use any of Ignace's ignitions at all right now. So you want to just make sure that you are just dealing enough damage. There it is. Right, there is a lot more comfort in this run. So what we're going to be doing is just, I mean, the same thing again, but it's a lot less on the wire. And I can just freely go and just use Smithereens now. And I'm going to switch Barbarossa to more defensive role because now I think everybody is fine. Oh, misses. Also, shoutouts to Chocolate Rain. Like, that's literally one of his attacks. Oh, someone's confused. This is around the time I want to use it. Yep, he's having his breakdown now. Alright, that should be it. And that is pretty much just what happens when you grind for 1 hour. So, I will be taking my leave very soon. So, thank you all for watching, thank you all for being here. Once again, this is a Yoshitaka Murayama Tribute Marathon for everybody. And he was Murayama was the creator to Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicle, and he is the writer for this story of The Alliance Alive. So if this game is interesting to you in any way, shape, or form, please like have a look at it. It is very fun to play. In a casual setting, there's a lot of fun little secrets and like a lot of wacky things you can do. But if you are interested in a speedrun as well, I'm Winterhof. If you can find a way to reach out to me, I do like to make myself kind of hard to find, but you know, feel free to reach out to me. I will be happy to answer any questions, but I have been making myself a lot less available in terms of a speedrun. So yeah, I guess I will leave, and I will see you all again in 4 years when I am once again dragged back in for another Suikoden type marathon. So we'll end one more time, and I'll just have a random character make the final launch order. Well, then again, I did say Vivian was the main character for the entire game, so... Alright, so that is going to be it for me. I will be throwing it to Tom88 very soon. And once we are done and once we see the title screen, I will throw it to you. So thank you again for everyone for having me here. Thank you again for letting me showcase this run despite the 4 years of rust. I'm still kind of getting over the fact that I still had a clean run without having to use any of my safety saves, so that is perfect. So that's all I can really ask for. Right, almost out of here, and with that, I will be leaving very soon. So once again, I am Winterhof, and this has been the Alliance Alive. So I will see you all in 4 years. Bye.